Andrew Douglas back here in the Action News 5 digital desk, asking for a raise from your boss. That is an intimidating idea, and certainly people are scared to do it. They don't want to do it. They feel shy about doing it. Well, let's talk more about this because we mentioned it earlier this morning. We are now joined live by the Vice President of Recruiter.com, Angela Copeland. Appreciate you joining us, Angela, and how are you?
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, we appreciate it very much. And so, the asking for that raise this time of year, it certainly can be intimidated for people. So let's get your best expert approach on how to approach that topic with your boss.
Well, this is such an important topic. I'll be honest, there is not any topic I'm hearing about more than pay right now from job seekers, because as you've seen in the news, pay is really going up now more than it really ever has. Before you have the conversation with your boss, I think you've got to kind of have a conversation with yourself. And I'd say start really by evaluating your risk tolerance, because this is a conversation that can be risky. When you go in and you have it, if it doesn't go well, we have to remember that as much as we want to fight for the most amount of money, everyone is replaceable, and it is a risky conversation. So if you've got 4 kids at home, you may want to approach it a little differently than if you don't have, any of those external factors going on. But the best time really when you're ready to have the conversation is to have it during your annual performance evaluation. And that's something that's starting to happen right now with many companies. Companies are going through their review cycle, and it's a good time to sit down and talk about where you are today and kind of where you want to be going forward in your career.
No, that's a great approach, and that's certainly a great time to ask for it. But, even still, the whole conversation, can be kind of weird. As you said, it can be awkward for somebody, especially if you're not prepared. What's the best way to prepare for that kind of conversation?
So the preparation is a very important piece. And the great news is that there's more data online today about salaries than ever before, because many companies are actually posting their salaries with job listings. And also you can look at other sites where there's available information about how much different people are making in certain roles by certain companies. So you can go in with research to have an idea of what you think is really reasonable. And then I would talk about results. What are you bringing to the table? What is the value that you've provided in the last year? And how is your role evolving to some new level? You don't want to go in and say, I'd just like some extra money, because of course everybody would like some extra money, but you've got to show business-wise why it makes sense. And the other thing is, I'd really brace yourself, because oftentimes companies are not incentivized to give big raises. Like if you're thinking you want a 20% or a 30% raise, your current company is not incentivized to give that raise to you. The company that will likely give you a big raise is a different company. So you've got to keep in mind that if you're truly set on making more money, you may have to look outside the walls of your current company.
I like that idea. I like that approach, research, results, and the evolution of what you're doing for the company. Great approach there. What about timing wise? Because a lot of times, if someone says, well, I haven't been there long enough, I don't know if it's the right time to ask for it. Is there a certain amount of time that you should ask for a raise?
You ask a great question, because if I've just hired someone, right, and they come straight to me and they want more money, that sort of feels a little disingenuous. Like they've agreed to a certain rate and now they want more, and they haven't even really been there long enough to do what we've agreed to. But at the same time, I'm really seeing companies that are stepping up and giving employees raises today who've only been around for a few months, simply because there is so much turnover going on right now. So, personally, I'd wait at least a year before you start having those conversations if you're brand new. And I would talk about it not just in terms of money. I know financially that's really what you're trying to get out of it, but you want to talk about it in terms of your career path, in terms of the value that you're bringing the company. Like you want to make it make business sense to them. It can't just be a grab for money. But really the best time is during that performance evaluation, when you're really talking about how you've done in the last year and you're talking about planning for the future.
Makes sense, certainly. And then another one that people might get tripped up on is, how much do you ask for? What's a good way to approach that?
It's a good question. Sometimes you can get the company to actually give you a number. If you talk about, directionally how you want to, that you want to grow in the company, sometimes they'll have a number they're thinking of. But alternatively, look online and see what's fair in your industry, at your company, in your particular role, because you may find that, a few $1,000s will get you there. You may find that, it's a huge chunk of money. And I wouldn't say there's a certain percentage, but you want to go out and do your research on what really is the market rate. But keep in mind, again, if you're asking for, let's say, more than 10% at the very most, I think that's a tough ask for any company. Even if what you're saying makes sense, even if it's the market value, even if all the things make a lot of sense, if you go in and say, I want 50% more money to stay here, I think there is a good chance your boss is going to say, I'm sorry, we just can't do that. So you really want to reflect. And if you are looking for that kind of a big raise, you may just have to look somewhere else. And the good news is this is a great time to be looking. There are so many companies hiring, and they are paying more than they were in the past. So if you want to truly make a difference in your pay, switching companies is often the very best way to go.
I love that. I love that. More options out there for the employee, for sure. So what about after you make this request? Let's say you get the gumption, you do it, you don't make it awkward, and they still say no. What then?
Well, it's a good question, because this is the thing. It gives you information. If they come back and say, no, we can't do it, it gives you the information you need, right? Like, either the company cannot afford to pay their employees more, maybe the company is not in a good place, or maybe they don't value you the way that you feel they should, or maybe your manager just doesn't have a backbone. Like, it could be any of those things, but you get this information by having the conversation, and then you have to make a decision. Are you comfortable to continue to stay and to continue to work at that same rate, or do you want to look somewhere else and see if somebody else would be willing to pay you more? I think the one other alternative you might consider, especially if you work at a big company, is looking at other departments within that company, because you will find sometimes there might be one department that pays much more than another department. So if you feel like, man, I've just really maxed out in my area and I don't think my boss is going to be willing to go up any higher, perhaps you take that information and you start to even look, in other spots within your same organization.
All great advice, all great cues from you. Anything else that we can touch on regarding this topic, Angela, that we haven't mentioned already?
I think the biggest thing is go and do your research online. We are so fortunate that labor laws around salary are really changing, and they have been for probably 5 years or more. And what it creates is a situation of transparency. So if you aren't sure if you're underpaid, go online and do your research, because it is not hard to find out anymore. And those laws have changed really in an effort to create more equality within sort of the space of pay. And as an employee, you have every right to go out and do your research and decide if the amount of money that you're making works for you or doesn't work for you. So go and do your homework, rather than, just wishing that someone would give you more money. And again, also remember that if you don't ask, you may not get any additional money. So asking is really the first step.
Great advice and insight as always. Angela Copeland, Vice President of Recruiter.com. Thanks very much. Appreciate all the info.
Thank you.
People need options. You need the option to excel, the chance to get beyond where you are, to refresh your skills and leap into the future. You need the option to be local, the possibility of growth where your roots are, while taking care of you and your loved ones. You need the option of a helping hand, the occasion to talk to someone who can help you take yourself to the next level. Go far, close to home. Northwest Mississippi Community College.
Hi, Stop working on the Sunrise Buick GMC truck. Thinking about buying a new or used car or truck? Remember, the selection's better and the savings are bigger at Sunrise. Over 600 new cars and trucks to choose from. Factory rebates up to $1,000 and interest rates low as 2.9. Bad credit? It's okay. At Sunrise, we've got a financing plan for everybody. SunriseMemphis.com. We're saving you money. It's just the way you're doing business. Covington, Pike, Wolfchase, and Collierville. We make it fun to buy a car again. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Thanks to Sunrise.
All right, Andrew Douglas here in the Action News 5 digital desk. Let's talk about summer grilling tips. Now that summer is officially here, we want to get out. We want to grill. We want to spice it up here. We know that inflation is creating high prices everywhere you look. So let's talk about grilling and how to do it in an affordable way. I'm joined now by two men who know all about it, will help us through and navigate summer grilling tips. During this grilling season, I have Lamar Moore, celebrity chef, along with Jason Jerome, a senior executive director of supply chain for National Cattlemen Beef Association. Gentlemen, good morning. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
Great, great.
Doing well. Thanks so very much. Jason, let's start with you. So let's talk about the food budget, because right now it seems a lot of things on our mind when it comes to grilling out is how we can do it in the most affordable way. How can we do that?
Yeah, so thanks for having us, first of all, and what a great question for the first official day of summer. So what we'll talk about here is kind of the way to stretch your dollar. And one of the ways to do that, whether you're buying for a large group or you're just looking for ways to spice things up for your weekday family dinners, you can do something like buy in bulk. For example, this whole strip loin. Well, I know that's a larger upfront investment. You're looking at saving up to $2 per pound by buying in bulk and then cutting that down at home. So if we stick with this strip loin, the average strip loin is about 15 pounds on average. So you're looking at an overall savings of $30 by buying this whole and doing that at home. I'd also say make sure you pay attention to those ads, those kind of circulars that come in your newspaper or your mail or your email. Also, compare cost online. And don't forget that traditionally, most retailers, grocery stores will offer steaks like strip steaks on sale as we come up to big summer holidays like the 4th of July or Labor Day. And lastly, I'd say do your best to plan meals at home. So you might have strip steaks on Monday, kebabs on Tuesday, and then you could even maybe do a stir fry on Wednesday.
That's a good idea. Always planning out the menu, making sure you don't buy more than you actually need, and then buying in bulk is huge. I mean, that's something that we do at our household. Chef Lamar, let's talk to you now. What are you making for us today?
Sure. And talking about, the preparation, what I have here is a strip fillet with a collard green chimichurri. Next is one of my favorites here is a strip loin pan-seared with a bourbon peppercorn sauce. And then we've taken the strip down to making a Moroccan spice kebab with a little bit of curry aioli on top.
That all looks really good. I'm a big fan of grilling in the backyard. Let's talk for a minute here, Chef Lamar, about the best tips for grilling at home.
Best tips for grilling. First is making sure your grill is hot and oiled. That keeps the beef from sticking to the grill. Next would be able to, when you're getting ready to grill, taking your meat out of the cooler, allowing it to rest for a little bit. So it's not necessarily room temperature, but it's not ice cold, so that the marbling cooking is great. Another great tip is when you're going to put your meat on the grill, as you can see, it's really nice grill marks. You're allowing your meat to cook and not move it every so often. So, example, you allow it to cook for about 5 minutes, and we use a diamond crosscut method. So, if you think of a clock, you go from 10 to 2. So you allow a 10 on one side, 2 on the other side, and then flip over. Last but not least is allowing your meat to rest. So meaning that once the meat comes off the grill, you allow it to rest for 5 to 7 minutes. You're allowing the juices to redistribute inside of the meat to keep that great unctuous flavor and moist and deliciousness.
Jason, let me go back to you. Since meat and everything seems to be at a premium, what are the best ways when you grill out, and perhaps you grill out more than what you eat on that given day? What's your best methods for storing some of that beef?
Yeah, so if we'll stick with this whole strip loin for now, and let's say we're still buying in bulk. So if you're going to use the beef that day, if you go to the store and buy beef, you're going to use it that day, totally fine to put it in the fridge. But if you're going to cut down something from a whole piece in a bulk, you're probably going to have some portions left over. And so it's super important on how you store that. So if you're looking at using any of these steaks or whatever you cut out of it in the next 1 to 3 days, totally fine to put in your fridge. Anything longer than that, it's very important to put it in the freezer. But packaging is also very important. So whether that be a bag or a container, you want to make it as airtight as possible. If you're using a Ziploc type bag, you want to take as much air out as possible. And vacuum sealing is the best if you have that, but if not, you can get the air out of that package. Also important to write the date on there so you remember when you put that in the freezer, and that way you just keep your food safe.
All great advice, gentlemen. Anything else before we let you go? I open this question up to both of you. Any final tips you'd like to mention that perhaps we haven't touched on yet?
I'll leave it up to Chef.
No, I mean, pretty much all the tips that we gave are pretty standard when you're trying to grill and also purchasing your meat and looking for quality products. So I think we're good there.
Jason, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say that, you know, if you're looking for recipes like this, or you're looking for ways to cut down a strip loin or plenty of other cuts, you can go to beefitswhatsfordinner.com to learn more.
Okay, appreciated. Lamar Moore and Jason Jerome, appreciate your time. Happy grilling this summer season. Thanks very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Andrew Douglas in the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I love this conversation because I think it's so underrated. Your gut health, you will be in the know if you know how important gut health is, because a lot of people don't. Have you checked your gut health? There's a new survey that finds most Americans have not. 2/3 experiencing recurrent digestive issues. It's something that I'm aware of, but I know that other people are not, because when I talk about it, it's like I'm speaking Chinese to a lot of people. Let's bring in someone who knows a little bit about gut health too. I'm joined now by Dr. Andrea Klemus, Chief Medical Officer at MDVIP. Dr. Klemus, appreciate you joining us on the digital desk. What is MDVIP? And if you can inform our audience that's watching right now, talk about gut health and why it maybe is so underrated.
Sure. So MDVIP stands for MD Medical Doctor Value and Prevention. It's a national network of primary care physicians that focuses on personalized preventive wellness. They partner with you to really let you live a longer, happier life. And we have many docs in the Memphis area. So gut health. MDVIP did a survey to understand what Americans know about it. And what we found out is they don't know how important it is. You know, most people think about gut health as just their stomach, but it's really everything from their mouth, well, all the way to the other end. And they didn't know that an unhealthy gut increases your risk for things like heart attack, stroke, diabetes, and even Alzheimer's.
How does someone know if they have a food sensitivity or food allergy? And again, how does gut health really play a role in all that?
Yeah, so 1 in 5 in the MDVIP survey thought they had an intolerance or sensitivity, but it wasn't diagnosed. So first, food allergy, think peanuts, could be life-threatening. Food intolerance, like lactose intolerance, you don't have an enzyme that can break down the proteins in milk or ice cream, and that gives you the GI symptoms. But food sensitivities are things that are mediated by your immune system. And what happens is if you're sensitive to a food, you develop inflammation in your intestine. And this inflammation, just like when you have inflammation on your skin and it's red and it gets swollen, well, if you have inflammation in your gut, you can't absorb nutrients well, and you don't make some of the hormones that we need, like serotonin for your mood, and it can affect your immune system. So you can get GI symptoms plus other symptoms as well.
Interesting stuff here. So tell me more, Doctor, about the survey that was posted and done. Give me some of the results of that.
Sure. So the sad part is 85% of people failed the gut IQ quiz and nobody got an A. I think one of the fun facts was that 50% of people won't poop in a public restroom. But there are some myths out there, like that you should have a bowel movement every day. 70% of people thought that, but yet 3 times a week or 3 times a day may be normal for you, so you don't have to go every day. Also found that younger people, 45 and under, many of them, or 40% of them, say they avoid sex due to GI issues, and 30% said it really affects their quality of life. So you don't need to suffer in silence, and if you have an issue, you need to go to your doctor.
Okay, so we've talked about some of the problems here of an unhealthy gut. What are some great ways, maybe some easy ways, that people can improve their gut health?
Yeah, and as Americans, I think we're always looking for that magic pill. Over 50% said in the MDVIP survey that they've tried a supplement or an enzyme or a probiotic, but food is the best thing to do to improve your gut health. So there are things called probiotics, which are the good bacteria in your gut. We have good and bad bacteria, and it's that balance that makes it healthy or unhealthy. So to get more good bacteria, you need the probiotic foods, yogurt, fermented foods, pickles. And then there are prebiotic foods, or foods that feed the good bacteria. And those are things like garlic, onions, asparagus, and oats. So even adding one of these things can help your GI tract, and then maybe taking out some bad things like processed or fried foods.
Where can people take this gut IQ quiz and maybe just kind of overall learn more about gut health?
So if you go to mdvip.com/gutiq, you can take the quiz, understand what your knowledge gaps are, and then add those to your symptoms. You can learn more on the website, but then make sure you go to a physician that really can talk to you, understand what you're talking about, and spend the time like an MDVIP physician so that they can help you live a longer, healthier life.
Okay, Dr. Andrea Klemis, Chief Medical Officer at MDVIP. Appreciate the conversation. So important to highlight gut health. Thanks very much.
Bank with confidence at First South Financial, one of the top 1% of financial institutions in the U.S. for strength and stability. Visit firstsouth.com today.
First South Financial, banking with friends since 1957.
Hey, did you hear the news? If not, catch up now with Action News 5's official YouTube channel. You can like, comment, and share the stories that matter to you. Meet the Action News 5 team and get a blast from the past in the Action News 5 vault. Top stories and special reports you may have missed or just want to watch again are added daily, so you can stay in the know with the 901. Visit youtube.com/Action News 5 and never miss out on the exciting things happening around you.
I'm Bobby Jones of Delta Medicare Benefits Group, the Mid-South's #1 trusted source for all things Medicare. At Delta Medicare Benefits Group, you work with local Mid-Southerners. There's no 800 number, no machines to talk to, just local Medicare experts. Together, we'll come up with the best Medicare plan that fits your individual needs. Call today for your free Medicare consultation at 460-7220 or stop by our office at 5050 Poplar Avenue.
Bank with confidence at First South Financial, one of the top 1% of financial institutions in the U.S. for strength and stability. Visit firstsouth.com today.
First South Financial, banking with friends since 1957.
First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis here with you on actionnews5.com and our digital platforms. We are starting off with temperatures in the 60s on our way up into the lower 80s this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies. A stray downpour can't be ruled out as we go through the latter portion of the day. Vast majority of us in the Mid-South will stay dry today. The best chances for a shower will likely be along I-22 down in northeast Mississippi. Partly clear tonight, a few showers possible late, mainly in North Mississippi again. The overnight lows in the outlying areas in the upper 50s to near 60, and in the Shelby County area, lower to middle 60s expected. A small chance of a shower to start off tomorrow, but we will likely get through the day pretty quietly, dry and quiet across the Mid-South. Outside of of that, though, we are watching storms down across the coastal empire of Georgia, the low country of South Carolina and eastern North Carolina. That is an area of low pressure that will not be heading in our direction, but some of its energy will have some impacts for East Tennessee. So if you have travel plans along I-40 heading out towards East Tennessee, Gatlinburg, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, through the Smoky Mountains, could have to deal with some rain showers and cooler temperatures on the other side of the mountains heading over into North Carolina. 50s for highs out towards Raleigh, North Carolina this upcoming weekend. Definitely not feeling like the unofficial start to summer. Back here in West Tennessee, eastern Arkansas, North Mississippi, we're looking a lot better for our upcoming weekend forecast. Let's go hour by hour with the futurecast. Not much going on. There is a frontal boundary moving through North Mississippi this morning. That is what's going to be the catalyst for a few of those pop-up downpours. There are not many out there this afternoon, but a few of you could get underneath a shower or two for Lafayette County, Benton, Tippah, and Alcorn counties. Wouldn't be surprised. McNairy and Hardeman counties, you might get a quick shower as well. Upper 70s to lower 80s expected here on your Friday. Tonight we'll bottom out down through the 50s and 60s. Places like Dyersburg out towards Alamo, Nutbush, Tennessee, and Brownsville. We're talking about temperatures in the upper 50s to lower 60s. Not bad. But look at what we got going on in North Mississippi. Yet again, that frontal boundary and an upper disturbance overhead will help to facilitate a couple of showers. Places like Marks and Sledge over towards Batesville and Como, we might get a shower or two in the morning. Then through the afternoon, sunshine breaks back out, but that sunshine underneath that pinwheeling upper low could get a couple of showers and thunderstorms to flare up even around the Memphis metro area and Shelby County. So we'll be watching that, but I don't think we're talking severe weather, but some heavy downpours, not completely off of the table. They'll generally stay east of the Mississippi River, but there could be some downpours at critical times tomorrow afternoon and early evening. They'll fade away after sunset. Then that upper disturbance gets a little bit closer to us. You see it pinwheeling over towards places like East Tennessee, the Cumberland Plateau. We might get a shower in eastern portions of our coverage area, but most of us likely to stay dry going into your Sunday. There's your Saturday rain chances, generally south of the I-40 corridor with a slightly better chance for seeing a few showers and storms. Bluff City Fair continues tonight and going through the upcoming weekend. 82 the temperature at 4 o'clock, by 10 o'clock in the upper 60s with a northeasterly wind. Tomorrow morning, the Great American River Run going from Beale Street to Beale Street, not looking half bad. 61 at 7 a.m., 68 by 9 o'clock. Could be a rogue shower or two. We'll watch that closely. And the Memphis Showboats back in town yet again for another homestand, and not looking half bad for hopefully win number 4 in a row. Upper 70s at kickoff to the lower 80s by the fourth quarter. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast for the Mid-South. 82 the high temperature for today. Slightly better chances for a shower or thunderstorm on Saturday. Not a washout by any stretch, but don't be surprised if you have to tangle with a shower or storm on Saturday afternoon. We'll dry it up for Sunday, Memorial Day itself, for any commemorations around the region. Mostly to partly sunny skies, middle 80s there to the upper 80s to low 90s heading into the end of May.
Get ready to splash into summer at the YMCA. With 2 great options to join the Y, there's something for everyone. Choose the Summer Splash Pass and enjoy the outdoor pools and splash pads now through September. Or take 20% off regular monthly memberships and keep saving for life. And you get all the great benefits of the YMCA with family and individual membership options. Visit the website at ymcamemphis.org for full details and to join today.
Good morning. Today or this week, we are smack dab in the middle of National Infertility Awareness Week. And joining us now to talk more about it is our friend Molly Walker. She is president of the Tennessee Fertility Advocates. And Molly, this is a topic that's near and dear to your heart, and it affects a lot more people than I think the general public realizes, right?
Hey, Andrew, thank you so much for having me on. Yes, it does. It actually affects 1 in 8 couples with infertility, and 1 in 5 women are going to experience, unfortunately, this awful disease that is classified by the CDC as a disease.
So you have been very public about this, and I think most people out there, I mean, I know several couples who have really struggled with infertility, and I know this hits home for you. Briefly tell me about your experience as much as you want, and then your job as president of the Tennessee Fertility Advocates, and what you are hoping this week. What comes out of something like this?
Gladly. I'm happy to share my story. I spent many years, unfortunately, dealing with infertility, and I was embarrassed. I felt a lot of shame, and it was just something that I didn't talk about. And I kind of just got to a point mentally where I was just over that, right? I knew that we had to actually speak up and voice what we're going through, because so many people are actually experiencing the same thing. And there's nothing worse than feeling this alone. So I personally just experienced our third miscarriage, and it has been very difficult. But throughout all of this, and also years of trying to get pregnant, we do have 2 beautiful children, but the road to get there wasn't easy. And I always like to say, the co-founder, Lauren Brown, and I, we just give our pain a purpose. So we started Tennessee Fertility Advocates to help raise awareness for those going through infertility and be a community. This week is it's like the Super Bowl of infertility, honestly, if you could say that. But this week is National Infertility Awareness Week, started by Resolve, which is a nonprofit raising awareness for infertility. And it's a place just to give people the ability to speak up and empower them to change the narrative around this awful disease, and also just empower them to ask their employers, ask their legislators, speak up about the need for infertility coverage, because that can make such a difference in the lives of so many who are going through this awful, awful burden.
I love seeing you and your beautiful family online. God bless you and everything that you're doing to bring awareness out there. Is that the primary goal, Molly, is to get insurance companies to cover the need for infertility during this week? Is that kind of one of the main goals?
Yeah, absolutely. The first one is just to, again, have that community and just raise awareness and advocate for the need for infertility coverage. And so whether that looks like going to HR at your employer, sharing your story, which is a very vulnerable spot to be in. I know, because I've been there. I'm in that season. I get it. But again, it just takes the power of one person speaking up. I believe a recent study said 65% of employers added coverage because their employees came to them and said, hey, I'm struggling with this. Do you provide it? And if not, Progeny, and there's other places, that would add infertility benefits that are absolutely incredible. So just to really give people the ability to speak up. Tomorrow is actual Federal Advocacy Day, so we'll be talking to our state legislators and just Congress speaking up about the need for coverage. We want to see laws in place that mandate infertility coverage. We want this to be something where I look at my precious babies, and I know, Andrew, you have children as well, but if they struggle with this awful, awful disease, at least the financial burden could be lifted.
Agreed, Molly. You mentioned at the top of our interview, 1 in 8 couples struggle with some sort of infertility. And I know that there's a lot of rumors out there or a lot of speculation as to why that is. Has the Tennessee Fertility Advocates really kind of said anything concrete as perhaps the reason why there's so much infertility these days?
That's not one of our biggest focus. So we haven't really dived into the research as to why that is. I know here in Memphis, I see Dr. Amelia Bailey at Fertility Associates of Memphis. And when you walk in, their lobby is full, Andrew. The amount of people struggling with this disease it's just growing and growing. And, I feel like, unfortunately, it's not something that's going to go away. Thank goodness for science and technology, and just what they are able to do from a research standpoint is truly phenomenal. So hopefully, in the years to come, more advances will be made with infertility, and hopefully more answers will come as to why this is happening. Unfortunately, also, too, it affects 1/3 is female factor, 1/3 male factor, and 1/3 unexplained or both. So a lot of people think of it, Andrew, as that female-only disease, but males are affected just as much as females are.
No question about it, Molly. I have some family members that struggle with infertility, so I know exactly the kind of issues that they're dealing with. We have thousands of people watching us on this digital stream, Molly, and I know that there are people out there that want to do something this week. It's an important week, as you mentioned, the Super Bowl of infertility awareness. What's something that maybe the general public, the Mid-South, can do to support your cause?
I would just encourage us. You'll be seeing a lot of posts from Tennessee fertility advocates on Instagram, on Facebook. Perhaps share those. Honestly, just sharing it, letting people know that there is a group, there is resources. You could go to resolve.org for a whole bunch of information around each day. There's kind of a specific challenge, if you will, on sharing your story, asking for legislative support, asking for employers to get on board with this. And hopefully my prayer is that years to come, that this will be something that is covered and we won't even know what it's like to have to go through these financial burdens. But just honestly go into tnfertilityadvocates.com, go into our social media page. We will have tons of resources that people can just check out and share, because you just never know who sees it, who might be saying, oh my goodness, I'm going through that too. Like, it's just so great to not be alone. We also just did a video yesterday and I posted it on tips for talking to your employer about the need for coverage. So go there, share that. I mean, those are some really great resources that we hope will help engage and empower people with this conversation.
Well, you're helping so many right now just having this conversation. We appreciate you and all the team there at Tennessee Fertility Advocates. Thanks again for sharing your story and what this week means to you and the organization, and all the best, not only this week, but throughout the year, Molly. Thanks.
Thank you.
Why won't you go? No one deserves to live like this. When it's time for a plumber, you deserve the best. Best Care Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Good morning, everyone. Andrew Douglas in the Action News 5 digital desk. I want to show you a live look from our High Five camera downtown Memphis. It is warming up nicely. Here we are, the holiday weekend almost upon us, 68 degrees at 8:15. We're going to be talking more about the forecast, the extended forecast, not only this weekend, but also into next week, where temperatures are really going to be heating up. You can stay tuned for meteorologist Patrick Ellis giving us the details of your 7-day forecast. But right now, I want to talk about trains, because we know how important and essential they are to our economy, moving all kinds of things around that we need all around our region and the country. And it's a system not without risk. Usually a train's speed or the load it's carrying creates some danger. And as national investigative reporter Josie Sturman discovered, trains can cause injuries, they can cause deaths, and delay emergency response simply by sitting still.
It's the kind of moment that takes your breath away. A little girl in a bright red coat, tiny arms and legs wiggling underneath a train car that could move at any moment. This is a situation that would usually send people running, but in Hammond, Indiana, it's quiet as she dusts herself off, casually picks up her book bag and a dropped water bottle, and carries on.
Her book bag could have got caught, her jacket could have got caught.
Moments like this still shock Akeisha Henderson, who moved here nearly 3 years ago. A few months ago, she started recording them, posting on social media, showing the world what normal looks like in a city where trains may block the street for hours at a time.
It's too far down.
Leaving kids with no choice but to take their chances, tangling with the steel beast that often stands in their way to school.
I know they're used to it. I can tell, because it's like they didn't hesitate to do it.
Industry experts say trains generally stop like this because their crew have reached the maximum hours they can work, or because of rail switching practices which impact when and where trains can move.
It's heartbreaking, terrifying.
Our national investigative team and our partner ProPublica repeatedly saw why, watching everything from a student lifting his bike over stalled train cars to crowds of kids waiting to see if a train would move before jumping over one by one to make the morning bell.
I think it's outrageous.
We took the video to members of Congress.
It's shocking.
and Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg.
It's exactly why we believe that there needs to be and can be more done.
Our national investigative team combed through data from the Federal Railroad Administration, which has been collecting blocked crossing complaints from the public since 2019. Last year alone, that data shows more than 30,000 reports of blocked crossings across the nation, with Texas, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, and Tennessee in the top 5 for complaints. But the FRA has no legal authority to regulate the problem.
It's always frustrating when you see behavior by a company and you're a regulator and you can't just grab them by the collar and say, stop it.
Secretary Buttigieg believes this is the moment for Congress to act and give the FRA, which falls under his umbrella, more authority. But he's not waiting for solutions. He's funding them, putting $3 billion toward projects nationwide that make crossings safer or get rid of them altogether.
If we can target those resources to where there is the most inconvenience or the most danger, then that's going to be a big win for the communities that are impacted.
The Association of American Railroads, an industry lobbying group, says safety will always be their top priority, with their members committed to being responsible community partners using a variety of strategies to minimize blocked crossings. As for Norfolk Southern, whose train we saw blocking crossings for at least 4 hours in Hammond, the company originally agreed to an interview with Investigate TV and ProPublica, but canceled abruptly, citing a family emergency. After we posted our story online, Hammond's mayor says he got a call from Norfolk Southern's CEO saying he wants to fix the situation. We're told they're now working together on a solution to protect kids whose walk to school is often blocked by stopped trains, with details coming soon.
Cutting out cable doesn't mean you have to cut out local news. Action News 5 makes it easy to keep up with what's happening in the 901 through Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can watch breaking news and weather from anywhere we go live, like and comment on the stories that matter to you, and share your ideas directly with us. So tap in using your phone, tablet, or computer, making it easy to stay in the know in the 901. We're taking action for you. WMC Action News 5. Find us wherever you scroll.
Hi, I'm Jaren Jackson Jr. of the Memphis Grizzlies, and I am officially vaccinated. I cannot wait to get back to spending time with my family and friends. I think people should do their research and make sure they get informed on the vaccine, and I definitely did that. I definitely looked up side effects, everything that I could find out, and I felt like it was still in my best interest to get the vaccine as well for anybody, really. So I'm encouraging everybody to do that.
Okay, have you planned everything out for the summer? Because so many people have, and guess what? The numbers are showing that international travel bookings right now are up some 200%, more than 200%. It's a crazy number. People not only want to travel, they want to go international. They want to see the world. Let's bring in Megan Cooper with AAA to talk more about this number. An extraordinary number, but I have to say, Megan, my family and I this past spring break, we went to Costa Rica, and it was fabulous. Our producer, Amanda Hansen's got an amazing honeymoon plan internationally. I mean, I can totally get it. People are just ready to go. What are some of the reasons?
So people are more comfortable with traveling. We've seen that trend over the last couple of years, but people are ready to go. They're ready to get out and see new places. And, we're seeing that reflected in our travel bookings. So we're up 200% on international travel bookings compared to last year. The biggest increase we've seen is in hotel bookings. That's up over 300% compared to last year. So people are comfortable, they want to get out, and they just want to see the world.
I totally get it. That is so true in the people that I interact with a lot. So let's talk about, I guess, a priority list. What are some of the guidelines? Since we probably know, with thousands of people watching us right now, we are either going international or we know a friend that's going international. What are the ways to really kind of set that list, that checklist for everybody?
Right. So one of the first things that you want to do is prioritize your passport. So if you have a trip planned or you're thinking about traveling internationally and you either don't have a passport or your passport is close to expiring, go ahead and get that taken care of as soon as possible. We are seeing a little bit of a longer wait time on some of those passports. in some cases, maybe 7 to 9 weeks. And you need this to travel internationally. So if first things first, if you don't have your passport taken care of and secured away, go ahead and do that right now.
Very cool. What about when it comes to packing and, my biggest fear was that, okay, our flight's going to get canceled and we're going to be, up a creek, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Right. So unfortunately, lost luggage, delayed flights, those are all things that we have to navigate now and always have when we're traveling. So if you're traveling with other people, with a family, with a spouse, with a friend, when you're packing, maybe try to spread clothing and those items that you think that you're going to need across multiple suitcases. That way you don't have one person that has absolutely nothing while another suitcase might have made it and one person has, everything that they need. When I personally travel, I try to keep everything in a carry-on and try not to check baggage. So if at all possible, if you don't have to check that baggage, maybe try to fit everything into a carry-on. If you are checking that baggage, maybe just go ahead and put some extra identification in there. So maybe take out a big sheet of paper and write your information on it, just in case that luggage tag is lost or something happens. You want a way to get that luggage back to you if it is lost or misplaced.
You are a rarity, Megan. The women in my family, they all have to check luggage. Like I've even mentioned that. Like, hey, why don't we carry on? It'd make it better. They're like, no, what are you, crazy? We have to check luggage. So hats off to you. I'm even more impressed by you with that response.
It's taken years of practice, I will say.
I bet. That's the other fear, though, that the luggage is going to get lost. I mean, is there any way, obviously, carry on is the best way. Is there any other way to maybe mark your luggage to make sure that it doesn't get lost? Or is there something else that people can do?
Just make sure that you're checking that baggage early. Make sure that you're giving yourself plenty of time to check it in. Be mindful of how you're planning your flights. So if at all possible, try to book those early morning flights. Those have a less likelihood of being delayed. And then take a look at what destinations you're traveling through. Is it a nonstop flight? Obviously, with a nonstop flight, that's less places that your baggage has to go. So limit those in between destinations. And if at all possible, if you can't avoid those, give yourself plenty of time at those different stops. And, sometimes we just can't avoid losing our luggage. Sometimes the inevitable happens and, you're that unlucky person. So that is one instance where travel insurance can really come in handy. And travel insurance does cover some of those costs of delayed flights as well as lost baggage fees.
Help me maneuver travel insurance for a second here, because I know travel insurance is a big question mark for a lot of people when they travel internationally. There's a train of thought that says, well, the travel insurance doesn't cover certain issues that are more likely to happen, so why even get it? And then there's another one that says, no, you need to get travel insurance and get the highest amount, or maybe you should get it for just specific things. Tell me where you stand, where AAA stands when it comes to travel insurance.
So with travel insurance, we always advise for people to purchase this, especially if you're traveling internationally. You're likely spending a lot of money. So we want you to protect that investment. If anything happens, if you get sick, if you can't go on that vacation, if something happens while you're on that vacation, we want you to be able to get that investment back if you at all possibly can. So with travel insurance, there are different options. So depending on what you're booking, how you're traveling, it really can be beneficial. So with those different types of travel insurance, of course, some things are covered, some things are not covered. And I think it ultimately comes down to that personal choice and how comfortable with risk that you are. But just personally, and from AAA, if you're making that investment and traveling, you really want to protect that so you're not losing out on money if something were to happen on that trip. And that's also where a travel advisor comes in very handy, because they can explain to you, what travel insurance would look like for your trip, how much you need, what that would cost. And a lot of times it's really not that expensive to add on that travel insurance policy to your trip.
Good deal. I appreciate you explaining that. Anything else you want to mention that you feel is important for some of the people, some of our viewers, thousands of which join us each and every morning, when they're traveling internationally?
I think the biggest thing this year is planning ahead. We're expecting things to be very busy. I've already heard reports this morning that we're expecting things to get even busier this summer. So if you haven't booked that international travel yet, go ahead and do that as soon as possible, especially if you're traveling this summer. But planning ahead, flexibility is key. If you are in the early planning phases of, planning an international trip, some of those ways that you can save money are being flexible, maybe, traveling in the off season, maybe traveling during the week versus on the weekend. But the biggest thing I think for travelers this year is start to plan early and book that trip early. With the demand and the interest that we've seen so far this year, that's likely to continue throughout the rest of the year. So that sweet spot of getting the trip that you want at the price that you want really is going to come from planning ahead and booking early.
Megan Cooper, who only carries on her luggage on those international flights. Megan, I really appreciate you and all that you do for us here at the Digital Desk, informing our public about the do's and don'ts when it comes to so many different things, including international travel. Thanks very much.
Here's a life hack. While you're physically at work, you can be mentally somewhere else entirely. So grab a refreshing summer edition Red Bull slush and imagine you're at the pool, or literally anywhere else but at work. Sonic Red Bull Summer Edition slush. Sonic.
Get ready to splash into summer at the YMCA. With 2 great options to join the Y, there's something for everyone. Choose the Summer Splash Pass and enjoy the outdoor pools and splash pads now through September. Or take 20% off regular monthly memberships and keep saving for life. And you get all the great benefits of the YMCA with family and individual membership options. Visit the website at ymcamemphis.org for full details and to join today.
Imagine a place where a cool summer breeze blows and burgers have that smoky char-grilled flavor. And also the breeze is your car's air conditioner because you're eating at Sonic. New Sonic Griller.
First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis here with you on actionnews5.com and our digital platforms. We are starting off with temperatures in the 60s on our way up into the lower 80s this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies. A stray downpour can't be ruled out as we go through the latter portion of the day. Vast majority of us in the Mid-South will stay dry today. The best chances for a shower will likely be along I-22 down in northeast Mississippi. Partly clear tonight, a few showers possible late, mainly in North Mississippi again. The overnight lows in the outlying areas in the upper 50s to near 60, and in the Shelby County area, lower to middle 60s expected. A small chance of a shower to start off tomorrow, but we will likely get through the day pretty quietly, dry and quiet across the Mid-South. Outside of that, though, we are watching storms down across the coastal empire of Georgia, the low country of South Carolina and eastern North Carolina. That is an area of low pressure that will not be heading in our direction, but some of its energy will have some impacts for East Tennessee. So if you have travel plans along I-40 heading out towards East Tennessee, Gatlinburg, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, through the Smoky Mountains, could have to deal with some rain showers and cooler temperatures on the other side of the mountains heading over into North Carolina. 50s for highs out towards Raleigh, North Carolina this upcoming weekend. Definitely not feeling like the unofficial start to summer. Back here in West Tennessee, eastern Arkansas, North Mississippi, we're looking a lot better for our upcoming weekend forecast. Let's go hour by hour with the futurecast. Not much going on. There is a frontal boundary moving through North Mississippi this morning. That is what's going to be the catalyst for a few of those pop-up downpours. There are not many out there this afternoon, but a few of you could get underneath a shower or two for Lafayette County, Benton, Tippah, and Alcorn counties. Wouldn't be surprised McNairy and Hardeman counties, you might get a quick shower as well. Upper 70s to lower 80s expected here on your Friday. Tonight we'll bottom out down through the 50s and 60s. Places like Dyersburg out towards Alamo, Nutbush, Tennessee, and Brownsville, we're talking about temperatures in the upper 50s to lower 60s. Not bad, but look at what we got going on in North Mississippi. Yet again, that frontal boundary and an upper disturbance overhead will help to facilitate a couple of showers. Places like Marks and Sledge over towards Batesville and Como, we might get a shower or two in the morning. Then through the afternoon, sunshine breaks back out, but that sunshine underneath that pinwheeling upper low could get a couple of showers and thunderstorms to flare up even around the Memphis metro area and Shelby County. So we'll be watching that, but I don't think we're talking severe weather, but some heavy downpours, not completely off of the table. They'll generally stay east of the Mississippi River, but there could be some downpours at critical times tomorrow afternoon and early evening. They'll fade away after sunset. Then that upper disturbance gets a little bit closer to us. You see it pinwheeling over towards places like East Tennessee, the Cumberland Plateau. We might get a shower in eastern portions of our coverage area, but most of us likely to stay dry going into your Sunday. There's your Saturday rain chances, generally south of the I-40 corridor with a slightly better chance for seeing a few showers and storms. Bluff City Fair continues tonight and going through the upcoming weekend. 82 the temperature at 4 o'clock, by 10 o'clock in the upper 60s with a northeasterly wind. Tomorrow morning, the Great American River Run going from Beale Street to Beale Street, not looking half bad. 61 at 7 a.m., 68 by 9 o'clock. Could be a rogue shower or two. We'll watch that closely. And the Memphis Showboats back in town yet again for another homestand, and not looking half bad for hopefully win number 4 in a row. Upper 70s at kickoff to the lower 80s by the fourth quarter. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast for the Mid-South. 82 the high temperature for today. Slightly better chances for a shower or thunderstorm on Saturday. Not a washout by any stretch, but don't be surprised if you have to tangle with a shower or storm on Saturday afternoon. We'll dry it up for Sunday, Memorial Day itself, for any commemorations around the region. Mostly to partly sunny skies, middle 80s there to the upper 80s to low 90s heading into the end of May.
Hey, I'm Brian Reed with Best Care Plumbing, Heating, and Air. And in the dog days of summer, a dirty air conditioner can leave you in the doghouse. Good news, it's tune-up time at Best Care. For $69, we'll keep you out of trouble. Let us wash away the dirt and grime of winter from your air conditioner as part of our 24-point inspection for only $69. And we'll also include a leak check at no charge. Call us today and ask about our early bird special, and we'll perform your tune-up for only $57. And when it comes to your comfort, you deserve the best.
Best Care Home. Good morning, everyone. Andrew Douglas on the Action News 5 digital desk. Memphis in May World Championship Barbecue Cooking Contest. It is a mouthful, and for many who go down to the river and Tom Lee Park, they hope to have a mouthful of some of the best barbecue, some of the best food in the world. And if you're lucky, you get to see the best food reporter in our area, Jennifer Chandler, joining us now on the Action News 5 digital desk. Jennifer, good to see you as always. Based upon your social media, I could see you were very active at the river this year. How are you?
I'm good. I have to admit that I did nothing on Sunday. After 4 days, I still kind of don't have my voice from being out there every day, all day long, one evening as well, and having so much fun watching all these people make this amazing barbecue. I got to try some amazing food. This is such an iconic Memphis event, and I was so glad that it was back on the river, and it was a good weekend.
I could tell. Yeah, I couldn't do it. My son was graduating this weekend, so we were so busy, family in town, all that stuff. But next year, there always are some things to try, and that's one of the things that Tina and I are definitely going to do next year. But what I love is that you have an article that is posted on commercialappeal.com. It's also on newsstands, and it is about the barbecue dishes you need to try that isn't necessarily the same barbecue stuff that we all know and love, the ribs and the pulled pork, right?
Exactly. So every year around this time, around the World Championship Barbecue Cooking and Contest, I always write a lot of stories about the contest, but I also like to write stories about our barbecue restaurants that we have here in Memphis. And we have so many great ones, and especially because One, to point out things to Memphians that they may not know, but also for people visiting town to know what to order, because I want people to experience Memphis beyond just what's happening in Tom Lee Park. And so this year, the theme of my story was skip the ribs and skip the pulled pork and try these secret dishes that are not so secret, but secret dishes that Memphians know about at some of our best barbecue restaurants.
Love.
So I went around to 5 barbecue restaurants and tried different things. So I'm going to start with one that is a true original, and it is the Barbecue Shop's barbecue spaghetti. Have you ever had that?
You know what? My son always gets it when we go there. He loves it.
Yes. Well, it was invented at the Barbecue Shop on Madison in Midtown Memphis. So if you're going to try it someplace, this is the place that you want to try it. And Eric Vernon, who runs the restaurant, he, I guess he's kind of like the 3rd generation, but it was started by a couple, Frank and Brady Lill, and they sold it to Frank Vernon, who is Eric's father, and now Eric runs it. And how it ended up on the menu was, it was Brady and Lill was the couple that owned it first. And Mr. Brady loved spaghetti, and he loved his barbecue, and so he kind of came up with this recipe to marry the two. And one of the things that's very interesting is they cook the noodles for the spaghetti in the drippings from when they have made their pulled pork. So there's a lot of flavor infused into those spaghetti noodles. And then they make a sauce that includes their barbecue sauce, their Dancing Pigs barbecue sauce. And then they, of course, put in some of their pulled pork for the meat. And it's really good. And if you've never had it, make sure you have a side of Texas toast. And I have to tell you, the first time I had it, I made the mistake. I was eating my spaghetti, and then I'd take a bite of the toast, and Eric came over and looked at me like I was crazy. And he said, "You don't know the secret?" And I go, "I don't know the secret." He goes, "You're supposed to spoon the spaghetti on top of the Texas toast and then take a bite of it. That's where you get all the juices."
No, I didn't even know that. Oh my gosh, you just taught me something, Jennifer. Thank you. I got to do that.
Yes, without a doubt. And I did it, and I was like, "You're right." And I had to order extra Texas toast. Needless to say, I did take a nap after that meal. So next on my list is Payne's Barbecue. Payne's is one of my favorites because it's one of these places that it's old school as you get. It's a cinder block building. I think it was a former gas station or garage, and it has been around for generations. And I will actually give Ronald Payne, who is the 3rd generation in this family and doing barbecue, he was just chosen as a fellow for the Kingsford Charcoal has a Preserve the Pit program where they're helping to empower Black pitmasters. And it was just announced about a week ago, and he was chosen as a 2023 fellow. And that's a really big honor because they have thousands of applications from around the country. And I forget the exact number, but I think it's around 10 people that they choose for this. So that's a really cool thing for Payne's. But the secret sandwich there is their smoked sausage sandwich. And it is what they do is they smoke their sausage, and then when you order it, they throw it in the fryer to heat it back up. And so it gets this crispiness around it. And then they put their famous mustard, kind of neon green mustard slaw that they do, and their sweet barbecue sauce. And it is so good. And here's how you really know it's good. Nick Fergus, the late Nick Fergus of the Rendezvous, is who first introduced me to this sandwich. And he was a barbecue king here in town. And going back to the Barbecue Shop, Eric Vernon, I sometimes do with my stories, I kind of hit a couple of places in the same day, with photographers. And I've led some of our staff, and I've even invited people from Nashville for the Tennessean newspaper to show them what real barbecue is. And we go in an order. And I usually start at Payne's and then move north. And of course, there's kind of a straight shot across town. And Barbecue Shop is usually my second stop. And so if Eric Vernon knows that I am going to Payne's first, he has me bring in one of those sandwiches. So I have 2 of the best barbecue places in town recommending that one sandwich. So if you've not tried it, don't take my word for it. take those two guys' word for it and give it a try. So moving on to the list, Cozy Corner over on North Parkway. I mean, this again is another Memphis institution. And one of the things that's been on their menu since day one is the Cornish game hen. And so I said, why is this on this menu? And they told me it was just because, oh my gosh, I'm having a senior moment on his name. The gentleman that started it, he liked chicken and he liked Cornish game hens, and he put it on there because he liked it and it was something different, and it has stuck and people love it. And so they smoke these Cornish game hens in their smokers, and then they use their dry rub and they use their barbecue sauce, and it's really a good treat. And I always tell people, order the meal so that you not only get the Cornish game hen, but you get 2 sides and bread, and that's the best bang for your buck. And to be honest with you, I think it's a meal for 2. But if you're really hungry, you can finish it yourself. Next on the list is the Rendezvous. So everybody knows about the Rendezvous dry ribs, but shrimp. I'm still excited about that barbecue spaghetti. Barbecue shrimp is something that is on their menu. And again, it's been on the menu for years. It used to truly be a secret menu item, and it wasn't printed on the menu until maybe the past decade or so. And it just used to be that people knew that Charlie Burgess liked shrimp, and if you called ahead of time, he would order shrimp and make up this kind of Greek interesting version of barbecue shrimp. It is not Memphis barbecue. It's not like New Orleans barbecue shrimp. It's kind of its own thing. It's kind of a tangy sauce that they make with it has barbecue sauce, and it has their dry rub, it has pepperoncinis, it has lemons. And so this is an advance order. It only comes away, it's 5 pounds of these jumbo shrimp. And I will tell you, it can feed an army. It comes in a big pot that they cook it in at the table. They just bring the pot out there, and then they scoop it into the dishes and serve it with ciabatta bread. So you have something to soak up the sauce. And I forget the exact numbers, but I think as an entree, it feeds like 8 people. And then as an appetizer, even more. So if you're thinking of doing it, at least 24 hours notice so they can get the shrimp in. Probably if you could give them a little bit more notice, they would probably appreciate it. But it's something that's completely different, unique, and a Memphis original. And it's just kind of a fun, different thing. I like to order it if I'm ever going with a really big group to the Rendezvous. And sometimes when family comes in town, there's like 10 or 15 of us, I'll order that as an appetizer, and then we'll each have some of that, and then we go on and have ribs as well. Last on my list is Central Barbecue. So, and this is the one for all my vegetarian friends. And this picture does not do this sandwich justice, I have to tell you. So their portobello mushroom sandwich is absolutely delicious, and it is vegetarian. It can be made vegan if you want it to be by leaving off the cheese, but they take a portobello mushroom and they marinate it. It has like a balsamic marinade with like secret spices and herbs, and they marinate it, and then they throw it on their grill, and it kind of gives it that char grilled kind of flavor. And then they finish it off with smoked Gouda cheese. I like to always order it with the slaw on it and barbecue sauce. And it just is a nice, meaty, plant-based sandwich that you can enjoy if you're not eating meat. And I will tell you also, I often order it with a side of their collard greens, which are also vegetarian, I've been told. So that's a great option for non-meat eaters to enjoy barbecue here in Memphis. So do you have any favorites off that list, Andrew?
You know, I've been taking notes, I must say, and I love, you know, when I take people to Rendezvous, I've never ordered the barbecue shrimp, so I'm definitely going to check that out. And then the portobello mushroom, I've always been interested in trying that at Central Barbecue. I just can't get past the ribs and the pulled pork. Yeah. Sorry, I just can't do it. And then, you know, I told you about the barbecue shop and that Payne's smoked sausage. Wow. That looks amazing. And then Cozy Corner, by the way, that's Desiree Robinson. Is that what you?
Yes, thank you. I was having a senior moment on her name. So, yes, and she actually, speaking of barbecue awards, she has been inducted, I guess 2 years ago, maybe, to the Barbecue Hall of Fame. And again, they're just all of these on this list that we've talked about are really barbecue institutions here in Memphis that have been around for decades, and some of them over 50 years. So they're definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong at any of those places. Jennifer, a great top 5 list. Love the number 5. It's a great list, and we appreciate you bringing it each and every time we talk to you. Jennifer Chandler, thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
People need options. You need the option to excel, the chance to get beyond where you are, to refresh your skills and leap into the future. You need the option to be local, the possibility of growth where your roots are, while taking care of you and your loved ones. You need the option of a helping hand, the occasion to talk to someone who can help you take yourself to the next level. Go far, close to home. Northwest Mississippi Community College.
Hi, Bob Burton of the Sunrise Buick GMC truck. Thinking about buying a new or used car or truck? Remember, the selection's better and the savings are bigger at Sunrise. Over 600 new cars and trucks to choose from. Factory rebates up to $1,000 and interest rates low as 2.9. Bad credit? It's okay. At Sunrise, we've got a financing plan for everybody. SunriseMemphis.com. We're saving you money. It's just the way you're doing business. Covington, Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville. We make it fun to buy a car again. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Thanks to Sunrise.
We know the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and according to the CDC, get this is a study here, nearly 3 out of 5 teenage girls feel persistently sad or hopeless. That's the highest level reported over the past decade. That is a startling number, and it's something that we want to talk a little bit more about. Let's bring in Dr. Laura Erickson Schroth. She's Chief Medical Officer of the JED Foundation. Doctor, good morning to you. I appreciate you joining us. Tell us what the JED Foundation is, and what do you make of this recent discovery that 3 out of 5 teenage girls feel sad or hopeless?
Good morning, and thanks so much for having me on the show. The JED Foundation was founded by a couple named Phil and Donna Satow, who lost their son, whose name was Jed, to suicide while he was in college. And so our signature programs revolve around assisting high schools and colleges to set up and strengthen their mental health and suicide prevention programs. And we also have a number of other programs that we run through JED. So we run campaigns to help young people to learn about signs of distress in other young people, how to support them and be there for each other. And then on our website, we have a lot of information for adults, for parents, guardians, teachers, coaches, to learn about mental health issues in young people and how to support them. And, you know, I think you're right that young people are really struggling right now, and we're seeing that in the data. They're living in a different world than we lived in when we were young, you know, so they're seeing things like on their news feeds, they're seeing constant information about really distressing topics. They're also dealing with living their lives online through social media, which can be, you know, super helpful for certain young people to build community if they might be in areas where they don't have as many people in person who they're able to get support from, but also can lead to comparisons and a kind of hijacking of reward systems. I think what's really happening with young people is a lack of social connection and community. So I don't know if you saw that the Surgeon General actually had an op-ed in a report that came out earlier this month where he talked about the epidemic of loneliness in this country. But, you know, what he points out is that there are real health impacts of this. So he says that social disconnection through research has been shown to be the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And we're seeing that for young people, they're very much socially disconnected. And that's been changing very rapidly. If you look at, for example, ages 15 to 24, there's been a 70% drop over the last 20 years in the amount of time they spend with friends on a daily basis. So it used to be about 2.5 hours a day in 2003, and now it's about 40 minutes a day. And they're missing that connection. We're humans, we're social creatures. And we know from research that social isolation leads to depression, suicidality, substance use. And we know the opposite's true, that connection and community can decrease depression and decrease suicidality.
You know, you bring up several interesting points. You know, I think of, because I have older teenagers, you know, I think in what they tell me is that this, you know, the phone, as much as we are connected throughout the world now through all kinds of devices like the phone, we're more lonely, we're more isolated. It's kind of ironic in a sad way, but I'm wondering, okay, we have these problems out there. Let's talk about solutions. But before solutions, let's talk about some of the warning signs first, because I would think one of the solutions is less screen time, less phone time, less social media activities, and then focus on real things, real people, and real relationships.
Yeah, I think first of all, for the warning signs, this is something we talk a lot about at JED. We want to make sure that all people, young people and adults, are able to better recognize signs of distress in their friends and in their children. And the people that are closest to them are the ones who are best at doing that, because it's all about change. You know a person and you know how they normally behave and what their mood is normally like. If you see a difference, that's what you're looking for. So you might see things like they're isolating themselves, not spending time with friends and family as much. They're not doing the things that they normally enjoy. Their mood is low, they're more irritable, their eating or sleeping patterns have changed, or they might be starting to have increased use of drugs or alcohol. And those are things where you want to notice and start a conversation. And those conversations may be about belonging and community, like you said. So I don't think it's black and white. I think it's pretty complicated. Social media and online life is kind of the water that young people swim in, and honestly, the water that we all swim in these days. We spend a lot of our lives online, and I don't think that's going to change. But we need to help young people to use those spaces the best that they can to find community and connection, rather than, to have negative effects from them. And we have to help them connect in person, in real life, to other people. So there are a lot of things we can do. We can encourage them to participate in activities when they're going to meet other young people. We can help them build relationships with adults in their lives who are going to be good supports. I think a lot of times parents are hoping young people will come to them if something's going on, but actually they might be more likely to turn to another adult. So you want to help them from a young age establish trusted relationships with safe adults in your communities. And then you want to help them find a connection to a larger community, to the world, to find their voice. And ways that you can do that is help connect them to things like volunteering or to getting involved in advocacy for things that they care about, because they'll feel like they have purpose, and it'll also give them a chance to meet other people who have shared interests and care about the same things.
Mother Nature is another one that I hear a lot about when it comes to helping people just kind of getting away from the noise of, for lack of a better term, urban life. And then you connect with nature in some form or fashion. Go to a park and take a walk or a jog or what have you, a bike ride, just kind of clearing your mind, if you will, because everything that I've seen is, that connection to Mother Nature can really do a benefit, not only physically, but also emotionally.
Absolutely. I think that helps to connect us to the earth, and it also helps to connect us in the way that I was talking about, to feeling a greater sense of purpose and being part of the world. It also helps us to get exercise, and we know through research that exercise is proven to help with mood. And so the combination of exercise and connection to sort of this larger system, or feeling like you're part of a greater community, can be really beneficial.
I enjoyed this conversation, Doctor. Where can we get some more information about this so that it can help students and parents out there kind of navigate these challenges?
Yeah, so this month, JED has a page for Mental Health Awareness Month where we're specifically looking at ways for young people to seek out community and connection. And that's at jedfoundation.org/MHAM, which stands for Mental Health Awareness Month.
Okay, Dr. Laura Erickson Schroth, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Banking with confidence at First South Financial, one of the top 1% of financial institutions in the U.S. for strength and stability. Visit firstsouth.com today.
First South Financial, banking with friends since 1957.
Hey, did you hear the news? If not, catch up now with Action News 5's official YouTube channel. You can like, comment, and share the stories that matter to you. Meet the Action News 5 team and get a blast from the past in the Action News 5 vault. Top stories and special reports you may have missed or just want to watch again are added daily, so you can stay in the know with the 901. Visit youtube.com/Action News 5 and never miss out on the exciting things happening around you.
I'm Bobby Jones of Delta Medicare Benefits Group, the Mid-South's #1 trusted source for all things Medicare. At Delta Medicare Benefits Group, you work with local Mid-Southerners. There's no 800 number, no machines to talk to, just local Medicare experts. Together, we'll come up with the best Medicare plan that fits your individual needs. Call today for your free Medicare consultation at 460-7220 or stop by our office at 5050 Poplar Avenue.
Banking with confidence at First South Financial, one of the top 1% of financial institutions in the U.S. for strength and stability. Visit firstsouth.com today.
First South Financial, banking with friends since 1957.
First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis here with you on actionnews5.com and our digital platforms. We are starting off with temperatures in the 60s on our way up into the lower 80s this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies. A stray downpour can't be ruled out as we go through the latter portion of the day. Vast majority of us in the Mid-South will stay dry today. The best chances for a shower will likely be along I-22 down in northeast Mississippi. Partly clear tonight, a few showers possible late, mainly in North Mississippi again. The overnight lows in the outlying areas in the upper 50s to near 60, and in the Shelby County area, lower to middle 60s expected. A small chance of a shower to start off tomorrow, but we will likely get through the day pretty quietly, dry and quiet across the Mid-South. Outside of that, though, we are watching storms down across the coastal empire of Georgia, the low country of South Carolina and eastern North Carolina. That is an area of low pressure that will not be heading in our direction, but some of its energy will have some impacts for East Tennessee. So if you have travel plans along I-40 heading out towards East Tennessee, Gatlinburg, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, through the Smoky Mountains, could have to deal with some rain showers and cooler temperatures on the other side of the mountains, heading over into North Carolina, 50s for highs out towards Raleigh, North Carolina this upcoming weekend. Definitely not feeling like the unofficial start to summer. Back here in West Tennessee, eastern Arkansas, North Mississippi, we're looking a lot better for our upcoming weekend forecast. Let's go hour by hour with the futurecast. Not much going on. There is a frontal boundary moving through North Mississippi this morning. That is what's going to be the catalyst for a few of those pop-up downpours. There are not many out there this afternoon, but a few of you could get underneath a shower or two for Lafayette County, Benton, Tippah, and Alcorn counties. Wouldn't be surprised. McNairy and Hardeman counties, you might get a quick shower as well. Upper 70s to lower 80s expected here on your Friday. Tonight we'll bottom out down through the 50s and 60s. Places like Dyersburg out towards Alamo, Nutbush, Tennessee, and Brownsville. We're talking about temperatures in the upper 50s to lower 60s. Not bad. But look at what we got going on in North Mississippi. Yet again, that frontal boundary and an upper disturbance overhead will help to facilitate a couple of showers. Places like Marks and Sledge over towards Batesville and Como, we might get a shower or two in the morning. Then through the afternoon, sunshine breaks back out, but that sunshine underneath that pinwheeling upper low could get a couple of showers and thunderstorms to flare up even around the Memphis metro area and Shelby County. So we'll be watching that, but I don't think we're talking severe weather, but some heavy downpours, not completely off of the table. They'll generally stay east of the Mississippi River, but there could be some downpours at critical times tomorrow afternoon and early evening. They'll fade away after sunset. Then that upper disturbance gets a little bit closer to us. You see it pinwheeling over towards places like East Tennessee, the Cumberland Plateau. We might get a shower in eastern portions of our coverage area, but most of us likely to stay dry going into your Sunday. There's your Saturday rain chances, generally south of the I-40 corridor with a slightly better chance for seeing a few showers and storms. Bluff City Fair continues tonight and going through the upcoming weekend. 82 the temperature at 4 o'clock, by 10 o'clock in the upper 60s with a northeasterly wind. Tomorrow morning, the Great American River Run going from Beale Street to Beale Street, not looking half bad. 61 at 7 a.m., 68 by 9 o'clock. Could be a rogue shower or two. We'll watch that closely. And the Memphis Showboats back in town yet again for another homestand, and not looking half bad for hopefully win number 4 in a row. Upper 70s at kickoff to the lower 80s by the fourth quarter. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast for the Mid-South. 82 the high temperature for today. Slightly better chances for a shower or thunderstorm on Saturday. Not a washout by any stretch, but don't be surprised if you have to tangle with a shower or storm on Saturday afternoon. We'll dry it up for Sunday, Memorial Day itself, for any commemorations around the region. Mostly to partly sunny skies, middle 80s there to the upper 80s to low 90s heading into the end of May.
Get ready to splash into summer at the YMCA. With 2 great options to join the Y, there's something for everyone. Choose the Summer Splash Pass and enjoy the outdoor pools and splash pads now through September. Or take 20% off regular monthly memberships and keep saving for life. And you get all the great benefits of the YMCA with family and individual membership options. Visit the website at ymcamemphis.org for full details and to join today.
All right, so you like that adventure stuff, right? I mean, Kim Clark doing the Go Ape adventure at Shelby Farms Park was fantastic. I've done it with my kids. I've done it with friends in the past. Highly recommend. It's a great time for anybody out there that likes to be in the outdoors. And we have another opportunity for all those adventure seekers out there. If you would like to go to the great outdoors, how about embarking on all kinds of different things you can do in Arkansas with the Ozarks and all the natural state has to offer. Let's bring in Suzanne Grobmeyer. She is joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk. She is Chief of Staff for the Arkansas Department of Parks, Heritage, and Tourism. Good morning, Suzanne. How are you?
Good morning. Welcome from beautiful Pinnacle Mountain State Park here in Arkansas.
It's gorgeous. I love it. And, you know, I've been to the Ozarks in the past, and it is breathtaking. It is not that far away from where we are in Memphis. And so let's just kind of inform our viewers. We have thousands that watch us each and every morning. What makes Arkansas a great destination for that adventure travel that so many people like to take during the summer?
Absolutely. And just, you know, you said it, the proximity is very good for you all. You really can explore the whole state, and there's so much to offer, from our rivers to our mountains, to, you know, the experience that you can get on our trail systems, our state parks. There are countless adventures for all ages. If you want to go with a group of friends or you want to be with your family, there's a lot here for you.
You know, when I was a part of my son's scout troop, of course, I'm an Eagle Scout. My son's an Eagle Scout, and we were doing some camping there. We did some canoeing in the Ozarks, Buffalo River National Park. Amazing. I love the place, and I love all the camping out there. I know that there are plenty of activities beyond that. There's whitewater rafting, there's climbing, there's mountain biking. Just give us a kind of a run through, a list of the different kind of activities that people can partake in there.
Yeah, I think it really depends on the region. You know, one of the things that I'll call out for Memphis is we're embarking on the creation of an 85-mile rails to trail experience just on the other side of the river at the Delta Heritage Trail. That experience will be very unique to Arkansas. It'll be unique in the country. I think also the proximity of that to Bayou de View, where you can have this big woods experience in a national refuge. You'll see birds that you won't see anywhere else in the state and in the country, maybe. I would connect that to here in central Arkansas, you start to see kind of the convergence of urban and nature coming together. That experience is pretty profound. You have great restaurants, and then you can get out and, get out on the Little Maumelle River, not far from where you are in downtown Arkansas. We have, if you cross the state, the Ouachita Mountains, we're home to 7 IMBA Epic trails, which are backcountry trails that really have long distance, kind of rugged experiences. Heading to the Ozarks, it is one of the fastest growing metros in the country, and it's for a reason. It has so much great art, incredible mountain biking with the Oz Trails, and then it is an emerging food and music scene. So really, you said it, countless activities and many adventures to be had.
I want to go to what you were talking about a little bit, Suzanne, about the Arkansas, the state of emerging as the mountain biking capital of the world. Tell me more about that, because we certainly have a lot of mountain bikers in our area.
Yeah, and we see a lot of them on the weekends. One of the things is that we lead with the natural state. That's who we are. This is just another layer of that. Of that. So Northwest Arkansas has invested in mountain biking to make it a urban and natural experience. It is some of the most progressive trail building in the country. And we see companies and people flocking to the region to experience the culture, which is from a pedal bike, a balance bike, to kids learning how to pedal, to advanced mountain bikers. It's home to the USA Cycling mountain bike youth team. So we are going to see an emergence of not only just an accessible biking community, but extremely high talent come out of the region in mountain biking. So it's an incredible sight to see, and it's a true testament of a partnership.
I love it. I love it. So for all of our viewers that are watching us right now, and there are thousands this morning, can you give us maybe a website or a place where people can go online and check out everything Arkansas has to offer?
Absolutely. I would send people to arkansas.com, where they can curate their experience of what they would like to see in the natural state, whether that's with their family, their friends, or an individual trip. I think that is kind of the hub of all things arts, culture, outdoors. You'll find a little bit for everyone.
All right, Susan Grohmeyer, Arkansas Department of Parks, Heritage, and Tourism. We appreciate your time this morning. Thanks very much. Have a great summer.
Thank you. You too.
Why won't you go? No one deserves to live like this. When it's time for a plumber, you deserve the best. Best Care Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
You know, there's been a lot of talk recently about the demand for retired workers during the labor shortage. And we ran a survey, and there was apparently a survey of 800 retirees all across the U.S. to find out just how many are planning to go back to work and why. And apparently there was 1 in 5 are likely to go back to work this year. Let's talk more about what else this survey had to say with our career expert, Stacy Holler. Stacy, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. Thank you, Andrew.
So listen, Stacey, I'm thinking about retirees and some of the reasons they're going back to work. And my first thing, just because it's been in the news recently, is the fact that maybe they've had this fixed income for many years and inflation is just blowing them out right now. Is that one of the reasons?
Absolutely, that's one of the reasons. I mean, people thought they had their plan set for retirement, and in so many ways, the world changed in the last 2 years. So everything's flipped around, but absolutely financial reasons are some of the reasons retirees are looking to go back to work.
I understand that, and I can understand why they're going back to work. It makes me sad, because I feel bad for them. They think, oh, okay, I got my nest egg, I'm ready to go and relax. What is I don't know if this survey really kind of gauged this, but what was their attitude of getting back in the workforce? Were they excited? Were they upset about it?
I'm so glad you asked that, because it's been very interesting in my practice and speaking with these folks who are going back. They're actually excited about going back. I've had several conversations in the last week. In fact, this morning I was talking to a 72-year-old retiree who said he missed working. He missed people. He missed collaboration. And I hear from many people that even if the financial reasons aren't the reason that they're retiring, they just thought it was the time to go play golf, they still want to be engaged. Most of the people I speak with are excited because they have an opportunity to go back to work on their own terms at this stage in their career. They could work flexible hours, they could work remote, they could work part-time. So it's a whole different purview for these folks.
I'm interested, Stacey, maybe a little bit of a deeper dive here. I would think that maybe perhaps they're excited, and I don't know if you gauge this, but they're excited because, for 2 years or so, we've been in this pandemic keeping everybody separate, and now here we are, you have an opportunity to be with people again, and so you're excited about this opportunity. Is that something you saw?
I do. It is partly because of that, for sure. But even if they're working remote, then they have some camaraderie even with remote workers. So yes, that is a part of it. I also have been speaking with a lot of CEOs in the last few weeks, and they are just bored. They're not ready to get out of the game. So I speak to a lot of people who are excited just to be back in the game. They still want to contribute. Older workers are much younger these days.
Very true. Very true. And I understand that they're going back, Stacey, to a different kind of field than they retired from. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, it's really, they feel like it's an opportunity to do something new and different. And that's where a little of the excitement comes now. That's not to say, Andrew, that there's a bunch of people that are working because they really need to, and they're not as excited. But I speak to an awful lot of people who want to try something new, or the CEOs want to go into consulting, or I've spoken to people who were in more of my business, recruiting for years, and now they want to do some other type of phone work. So there is a little bit of excitement to do something that maybe you always wanted to do, and you could afford to do that right now and still be engaged. So it really runs the gamut, Andrew. People have a lot of different reasons for going back, but it's not as downtrodden as you would think. These people are excited about still contributing. There is no retirement age anymore in a lot of these people's minds.
Well said, Stacey. I don't know if you have this in your survey, but I'm curious as how employers are reacting to this wealth of knowledge of retirees coming back into the workforce. Any idea? Can we gauge on what they're feeling?
Yeah, those are the people who are reaching out to the retirees. I mean, there's a lot of challenges now in the workplace. Everybody's trying to figure out how to work remote. And it's very welcoming for these people to bring back folks. Some of them are going back to their old organizations part-time, and they're being asked to because they have the experience and the knowledge. They don't have to learn the basics of the workforce, and they can become mentors to other people. And they already have an established experience. So in many ways, it's easier to bring them in with their experience and knowledge that they could share.
What else have we haven't touched on, Stacey, that came out from this survey that you got? Because this is all fascinating to me, and it actually paints a more of an optimistic and upbeat view of things.
For me, from my purview, it is encouraging. I think these retirees who in the past years were very limited as to options. You were told to retire, and then maybe if you still needed to work or wanted to be engaged in work, you had to look locally because you still, at an older age, you might not want to commute 2 hours a day. So you were pretty limited in what your choices are. But the choices for retirees who want to go back to work now is much more open. And that's why you hear in me a little excitement about it, because I'm hearing people who still want to be engaged and have opportunities they didn't have before. So although a lot of them are also doing it for financial reasons, it's not like earlier in their career where they might have taken something that they didn't love because they had to. Retirees are feeling a little more wiggle room in really doing something that they like to do, and they might not have to do it full time. So they could enjoy it more on a part-time basis.
Cutting out cable doesn't mean you have to cut out local news. Action News 5 makes it easy to keep up with what's happening in the 901 through Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can watch breaking news and weather from anywhere we go live, like and comment on the stories that matter to you, and share your ideas directly with us. So tap in using your phone, tablet, or computer, making it easy to stay in the know in the 901. We're taking action for you. WMC Action News 5. Find us wherever you scroll.
Hi, I'm Jaren Jackson Jr. of the Memphis Grizzlies, and I am officially vaccinated. I cannot wait to get back to spending time with my family and friends. I think people should do their research and make sure they get informed on the vaccine, and I definitely did that. I definitely looked up side effects, everything that I could find out, and I felt like it was still in my best interest to get the vaccine as well for anybody, really. So I'm encouraging everybody to do that.
Okay, Andrew Douglas back here in the Action News 5 digital desk. We know about our record sky-high inflation. April is Financial Literacy Month, and we are trying as Americans to figure out new ways to save money because gas prices are going up, grocery store prices are going up, everything is going up. And we're just trying to maximize each penny that we earn as much as possible and find those creative ways to save money. So joining me right now to talk about this is Ron Griffin. He is the Senior Director of Public Education and Advocacy for Experian. Good morning. How are you,
Good
Ron?
morning. Good morning. Glad to be here.
Okay, good to see you. So let's talk about advice that you have for Americans who are just trying to save more money or at least make that dollar go further.
Yeah, we just did a survey and found that 3 out of 4 people are trying to find ways to save because of inflation and the impact it's having on their wallet and their pocketbook. So we found that a quarter of the people in our poll were looking at whether they should even pay their auto insurance bill that month in order to pay other things that they might have to, like rent or utilities. So saving money is critical, and they're looking for ways to do that.
So let's talk about credit score, because I know that credit scores can impact the cost of more than just loans. Tell me about that.
Sure. Yeah, credit scores and credit reports are used in virtually every financial decisions. So we know about credit cards and car loans and mortgage loans, but we don't think about things like auto insurance, for example. The auto insurance companies will look at your credit report to help them determine whether you can pay your insurance premium on time each month, which is sort of like a loan payment each month. So saving money on that auto insurance premium can be dependent on having good credit scores and also in finding the best rate. So one of the things that we're trying to help people do is find lower premiums through our auto insurance shopping service that we've just introduced. We're finding that when people visit Experian.com/save, they're saving as much as $900 a year. That can help make a bit of a dent in the cost of insurance, so help you put gas in the tank. But taking care of that credit report, getting that credit report, knowing what's in it is really important as well. You can get a free report once a week at annualcreditreport.com. So you can look at it as often as you like. Won't hurt your credit scores, but could help you know what you need to make them better.
So, Ron, I know you talk with a lot of people. You talk with various consumer advocates and financial editors. You talk about different ways to educate others and ways to save and manage their personal finances. If someone's coming to you and let's say they're on a fixed income and they can only spend a certain amount of money, we have this sky-high inflation that's going up and up and up, and it's at a 40-year high, and there's no end in sight. What are some of the first steps you tell people immediately to do to just kind of stay within budget and save as much as you possibly can?
Well, I think you hit the big B word. Make sure that you're budgeting. If you don't like to budget, make a spending plan, kind of the same thing, but if you do what works for you, but know where your money's going first and what you have coming in. From there, you can begin to figure out what you need to do and where you can save, as well as where you might make improvements. The second step is get the credit report. Consider enrolling in a monitoring service where you get a score each month, like Experian offers. It's free, and that will tell you what you need to do to make those credit scores better. And as we were just talking about, if you can improve your credit scores, it gives you the ability and empowers you to negotiate better rates, perhaps get lower interest rates, better terms. So gives you an advantage. So take advantage of those tools. Use your credit history as a financial tool. I always tell people the credit report is a financial tool. Debt's the financial problem. So use credit to your advantage and take control of those finances. And it can seem hard to do when you have limited income, but using those tools available is what's really important.
What about resources, Rod? What resources are available to help Americans improve their overall financial health?
Sure, and there are a lot of them out there. Experian offers a lot of financial education programs and resources. You can find information at Experian.com. My first role of the company, I've been there 25 years, was to write something called Ask Max, which is now Ask Experian. It's a credit advice column and financial advice post, a blog now. So use those kinds of resources. You can turn to lots of other organizations, government agencies, CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has great information. There are organizations that work with schools like the Jumpstart Coalition for Financial Literacy that has a clearinghouse of resources that could be good for kids and adults. So visit the jumpstart.org and their clearinghouse and talk to your lenders and others. Use your banking apps. There are many places that can help you get the information you need to make better choices and to understand what you can do to become more financially healthy.
You were named Educator of the Year by the Institute of Financial Literacy, Rod. You mentioned the first thing you need to do is create some sort of budget. If after that, what else can we do? What are some of the first things you tell people and really kind of educate them on their financial well-being?
Yeah, when you have a budget, you know where your money is going and you know what's coming in. That's the first thing that's empowering. A budget isn't a barrier, it's a tool to help you actually take control and own your finances. You want to own the money, you don't want it to own you. And so using that budget gives you control. Another thing that I suggest is if you're having trouble and need help, visit a good quality nonprofit financial counseling service. They're there to help. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to have big financial troubles. They can work with you to make better decisions, understand how the money you have works, identify options for repayment. The NFCC, the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, is a great place to start, nfcc.org. They can help you really look at your overall financial picture and determine what is best for you and the best approach. When it comes to paying down credit card debt, that's really the number one thing that you can do to help your credit scores the fastest. There are ways to approach that. You know, there's some call it the avalanche method. Some use a snowball method. I don't know why snow in wintertime is the analogy, but one is take the highest interest rate card you have, start to pay it off. The math says that will save you the most money in the long term. My concern with that is it can seem like you're not making much progress. It can take a long time and you might get discouraged and give up. We don't want that to happen. So the alternative is maybe take a credit card where you have a low balance, pay it off, and when you pay that card off, it gives you a sense of accomplishment. Also gives you a bit more you can put toward the next card. and then pay it down as well. Paying down your credit cards is going to help your credit scores. It's going to reduce your debt. It's going to reduce your financial stress. So a really important place to start, and the thing that most affects scores the fastest for people. So do what works for you is the thing that's most important. You have to stay motivated, you have to stay focused, and have to stay engaged. If you get discouraged using what the math says will work, if you give up, it's not going to accomplish what you need it to.
Here's a life hack. While you're physically at work, you can be mentally somewhere else entirely. So grab a refreshing summer edition Red Bull slush and imagine you're at the pool, or literally anywhere else but at work. Sonic Red Bull Summer Edition slush. Sonic.
Get ready to splash into summer at the YMCA. With 2 great options to join the Y, there's something for everyone. Choose the Summer Splash Pass and enjoy the outdoor pools and splash pads now through September. Or take 20% off regular monthly memberships and keep saving for life. And you get all the great benefits of the YMCA with family and individual membership options. Visit the website at ymcamemphis.org for full details and to join today.
Imagine a place where a cool summer breeze blows and burgers have that smoky char-grilled flavor. And also the breeze is your car's air conditioner because you're eating at Sonic. New Sonic Griller.
First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis here with you on actionnews5.com and our digital platforms. We are starting off with temperatures in the 60s on our way up into the lower 80s this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies. A stray downpour can't be ruled out as we go through the latter portion of the day. Vast majority of us in the Mid-South will stay dry today. The best chances for a shower will likely be along I-22 down in northeast Mississippi. Partly clear tonight, a few showers possible late, mainly in North Mississippi again. The overnight lows in the outlying areas in the upper 50s to near 60, and in the Shelby County area, lower to middle 60s expected. A small chance of a shower to start off tomorrow, but we will likely get through the day pretty quietly, dry and quiet across the Mid-South. Outside of that, though, we are watching storms down across the coastal empire of Georgia, the low country of South Carolina and eastern North Carolina. That is an area of low pressure that will not be heading in our direction, but some of its energy will have some impacts for East Tennessee. So if you have travel plans along I-40 heading out towards East Tennessee, Gatlinburg, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, through the Smoky Mountains, could have to deal with some rain showers and cooler temperatures on the other side of the mountains heading over into North Carolina. 50s for highs out towards Raleigh, North Carolina this upcoming weekend. Definitely not feeling like the unofficial start to summer. Back here in West Tennessee,
Hey, I'm Brian Reed with Best Care Plumbing, Heating, and Air. And in the dog days of summer, a dirty air conditioner can leave you in the doghouse. Good news, it's tune-up time at Best Care. For $69, we'll keep you out of trouble. Let us wash away the dirt and grime of winter from your air conditioner as part of our 24-point inspection for only $69. And we'll also include a leak check at no charge. Call us today and ask about our early bird special, and we'll perform your tune-up for only $57. And when it comes to your comfort, you deserve the best.
Good morning. I'm Amanda Hansen here at the Action News 5 Digital.
Okay, check it out here. La Prensa Latina 27th anniversary here in the Mid-South, reporting with greater strength and presence in the Hispanic community. Yes, La Prensa Latina, we talk to them each and every Friday morning. I'm joined now by Vivian Fernandez de Adamson, the editor of La Prensa Latina, and so happy to be with you on the anniversary. Happy anniversary, Vivian.
Hi, Andrew. Thank you. How are you?
Doing well, thank you so much. So tell me how you are marking the anniversary and your team at La Prensa Latina.
Well, this is just a milestone for everybody here. I mean, we're so excited. It's been 27 years of, hard work, trying to keep our community informed in both languages, in English and Spanish. I mean, because, we want to cover everybody, and educate our community, for the better of our city, right? So it's just a pleasure for us, to keep doing what we love, and inform our community and again, contribute to this society, in a good way.
Well, I love the artist's rendition here. The artwork is just fantastic there on the cover, and it's just very festive, very happy, and really love it. It's on newsstands right now, by the way, for anyone to pick up and enjoy. And I notice inside there's a number of different articles. One has to deal with the Memphis Zoo and the new babies there. Tell me about this.
Yes. Yes, I mean, we just wanted to celebrate, salute and celebrate the Memphis Zoo, for their work, how they're doing, with conservation and, taking care of these animals. And this year they have like probably 13 new babies. I mean, it's just amazing. And some of them, are in critical extinction, so, it's amazing, like the tiger cubs. I mean, they didn't have any, tiger cubs since 1998. So that is amazing. Now they have 2 new ones, and they're so cute. And all the babies are beautiful. Even either they're human or animals. Babies are beautiful. So that's why we wanted to do something special for the Memphis Zoo this time. And we feature the babies here, like Tanya, the little Dick. We have Mystic Storm and Shazam, the little lambs. Lumi, the beautiful bongo. There's another bongo called Birch. We also have other lambs. So Rondomino, Rudy, the Francois Langour. We have, different animals. So, and of course, the tiger cubs that they don't have names yet because, they're 2 babies, they're too young. They don't know, their sex yet. So we'll probably know their names sometime in the near future.
Yeah, cute, very cute. Yeah, we followed the Memphis Zoo announcing the new babies, and they are just so cute to look at, and of course our viewers love looking at it as well. Memphis Police and the Memphis City Council will meet with the Hispanic community, and I understand you have an article about that. Tell me more.
Yes, this is very important for us, and obviously for the community because we have been working with NPD for so long already, trying to connect them, with the community because there is a mistrust, the community doesn't really trust the police, because of obvious reasons, and especially because of fear of deportation, immigration and all that. So, we have been telling them that they don't have to be afraid of the police, that if they are victims of any crime, they have to report that crime, otherwise, the police won't be able to help them and they will not be deported. So these are some of the topics that they're going to be talking about during this meeting, especially now that crime is, incredibly rising here in the city, unfortunately. So that's why they're going to have this meeting on Sunday. This is going to be at the Restoration Tabernacle Church, located at 3239 Overton Crossing Street. It's going to be again on Sunday, May 28th at 10 in the morning. So if you want to know more about this, you can read the article in the paper. Again, this is a meeting with MPD and the City Council that they're going to meet with Hispanic community to talk about all these issues, especially about how to prevent crime, how to, avoid being a victim of crime.
Yeah, and that is certainly an important issue for everyone involved, including this Hispanic community. Again, you can find more information on the cover and on the pages of La Prensa Latina and laprensalatina.com. Final question here about one of the other articles. Shelby County Mayor's Office presenting financial aid to refugee program. Tell me more about that.
Yes, this is with Mayor Lee Harris, and him along with other commissioners, actually Commissioner Henry Brooks and Erica Sugarman. They presented on Thursday, May 18th, a grant to the Refugee Empowerment Program. With the grant is $50,000 grant, I'm sorry. So this is to help, all the immigrants that are coming to Memphis so they can have a better life. So with this grant, they provide after-school programming, tutoring, transportation for more than 120 children of refugees and immigrants here in Memphis. So they provide a bus also, for transportation, like I said before, the space for various community activities. And all of this is taking place at the Commons at Merton Community Center, and where they also have a classroom for immigrants and refugees as well. So this is very important, especially now that, Title 42 just ended not too long ago. So, obviously, the government, thinks that there's going to be more immigrants coming right now to the U.S. So we have to be prepared for that, because obviously we know that a lot of them are coming, because of fear of the government in their countries, violence, they are fleeing violence. So they're looking for a better life for them and for their families. So this is very nice, coming from Shelby County and especially from Mayor Lee Harris. And we thank him for the city. That means that Memphis and Shelby County, that the county is welcoming, and the city of Memphis welcomes all immigrants too.
Okay, and you could read more about this on the pages of La Prensa Latina, the 27th anniversary of La Prensa Latina here in Memphis, the largest bilingual newspaper in the Memphis area. You can also go to laprensa-latina.com. Vivian, congratulations on the anniversary to you and all your team. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. Anything else you wanted to say before we let you go?
I just wanted to thank you and all your team at Channel 5, WMC, for being a great partners. We love working with you also. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. Appreciate it very much.
Hey, I'm Brian Reed with Best Care Plumbing, Heating, and Air. And in the dog days of summer, a dirty air conditioner can leave you in the doghouse. Good news, it's tune-up time at Best Care. For $69, we'll keep you out of trouble. Let us wash away the dirt and grime of winter from your air conditioner as part of our 24-point inspection for only $69. And we'll also include a leak check at no charge. Call us today and ask about our early bird special, and we'll perform your tune-up for only $57. And when it comes to your comfort, you deserve the best.
Well, Amanda Hansen here at the Action News 5 Digital Desk, and I'm sure you know sleep is so important. And if you didn't know, March is Sleep Awareness Month, and so we are wanting to get some more information about how you can make the most of the sleep that you get and just how it can impact your health. So joining us this morning, we have a special guest with us this morning, Amy Duffy, Dr. Amy Duffy. How are you doing? We're so glad to have you on this morning.
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
So I want to dive right in because as someone who used to work really odd hours, I used to work a morning show here at one of our television stations within our company, and so I would have to come into work at 3 o'clock in the morning. And it was always difficult for me to make myself go to bed early so I could get enough sleep. And I learned that if you don't get enough sleep, it can really impact your overall health. Can you talk a little bit about some of the impacts that it can create for you if you're not getting that quality sleep?
Absolutely. We see lack of sleep can lead to many chronic health conditions and diseases like diabetes, obesity, heart disease, and even depression. And lack of sleep leads to motor vehicle accidents and lots of mistakes at work, and that can cause a growing number of disabilities and injuries every year. It's really something that we have to get a hold on for our health. I think that lack of sleep is really almost a pandemic here in America.
And I feel like there's been a lot of talk about this particular topic. We just had daylight saving time, and of course that can mess with your sleep patterns and things like that.
Absolutely.
I know there's some legislation going through right now about staying in daylight saving time, and so people are thrown off. What kind of tips? I know that you have some mistakes that maybe people make that keep them from being able to get to sleep. Can you talk about what some of those mistakes might be?
Absolutely. One of the first mistakes is drinking a cup of hot cocoa or warm milk. So did you ever have your grandma say, "Here, sweetie, here's a cup of warm hot cocoa," right?
Oh, yes.
So that hot cocoa is full of sugar and caffeine, and it can be really stimulating and keep you from falling asleep. That warm milk for some can exacerbate acid reflux, waking you up later, making you uncomfortable, stomach upset. And both of these are liquids. Drinking liquids right before bed, you're going to be waking up later to pee.
Exactly. I know myself. I've made the mistake where I would drink hot chocolate, or even some teas out there that have caffeine. Green tea, I believe, has caffeine in it. And so I could see that being a mistake you make. You're drinking something hot, warm, thinking that it maybe will help you relax, but actually it has the opposite effect. So what else?
And here's
what else
the other
is
one,
there?
right? Another beverage people want to drink right before they go to bed is maybe a glass of wine or a beer, whatever your beverage of choice is, right? And that calms your brain down, thinking, oh, that's going to help me get ready for bed and go to sleep. And it may calm you down initially, but the withdrawal from alcohol can be really stimulating, and it will wake you up later. And alcohol is a diuretic and another liquid, so right before bed, that's going to wake you up later again. Many alcoholic beverages have a lot of sugar in them, including that wine or those mixers with maybe a margarita or something like that. And that sugar rush is going to be followed by a sugar crash, and you're going to wake up with night sweats. That's not menopause, lady. That's your blood sugar dropping.
I would have not known that at all. And it's so interesting, though, because you bring up all of these different things, and in your mind, you're thinking that this is helping you sleep, when in fact it's counterintuitive. And one of them that I know is on this list, it was talking about sleeping pills. What's the story with that?
Yeah, so sleeping pills, a lot of people think they're sleeping pills, and really most of them are just sedatives. They're tricking your mind and your body into thinking that you're sleeping, but you're really not sleeping. And you're going to wake up still feeling unrested and even a little bit hungover the next morning. Not a good idea.
Yeah, I understand that. I know when I've been sick in the past, and you take the medicine that maybe the PM, Tylenol PM, and sometimes you wake up feeling groggier than you did before you went to sleep. So, and then of course, we as humans are so reliable on technology, and it seems like we're constantly, we have our phone in our hand. And I mean, could this be another thing that just really keeps you awake at night?
Absolutely. So that light from your cell phone, as soon as you turn it on, it's going to stimulate your brain. It interrupts your circadian rhythm, and it suppresses the hormone melatonin, which is the important hormone that's going to help you sleep. This is one of the biggest mistakes that we see. Instead,
no, continue.
Yeah, I was going to say, one of the best things you can do if you want to borrow your phone for a few minutes is have a ready, available, recorded audio of a meditation or a relaxation where you can just ready to go, hit the button and help that calm you down. Do some deep breathing exercises, in for 4 and out for 4. Those are both really good things that can help you fall back to sleep.
I know for myself, I've downloaded that app called Calm before when I've had trouble sleeping, and I think there's even some of that calming sound or noises, the natural noises that you can find on YouTube too, that I've turned to before when I could not sleep, because sometimes my brain just gets so active that I sit there restless at night. So we talked about some mistakes that maybe people make that could be impacting their quality of sleep. Do you have any other tips to maybe help people if they're struggling to be able to get to bed at night and get that quality sleep that we all need?
Yeah. I think anytime we can start the process ahead of time, having a good routine, trying to go to bed at the same time every night is very good. Our brains are ready for that melatonin to kick in. Our cortisol comes down as we go to sleep at night. So anything that you can do to start turning your lights off at nighttime, maybe turn on some of that calming music and start the process early enough to get your brain out of that stimulating sympathetic mode and into our rest and digest mode.
And I know you mentioned something about how sleeping pills can impact your quality of sleep. What about those like melatonin gummies or something like that? Are those helpful?
Yeah, melatonin is the hormone that we need to help us sleep, and it can actually be suppressed with all this stimulation. So cortisol is your wake-up hormone, and melatonin is your sleep hormone. When we're stimulated and stressed and turning lights on, that actually increases cortisol, which suppresses your melatonin. So for some people, taking anywhere from 1 to 3 milligrams of melatonin up to 5 or 6 maybe to start out with, without having a conversation with your doctor. Going higher doses sometimes is necessary, but definitely in those low doses, it absolutely can help calm your brain down and start that sleep process.
Definitely some great advice. Is there any anything else you want to add before we let you go?
I think that's about it. You know, like I said, I think sleep is such a powerful thing that's going to help turn our health around. It's going to give you more energy. And we really just have to focus on how can we start that process of getting better sleep, not only falling asleep, but keeping us from waking up in the middle of the night. That's really important. So I appreciate it so much for being on with you.
Well, Dr. Amy Duffy, thank you for taking some time with us, and you have a good rest of your morning, all right?
Thank you so much. You too.
People need options. You need the option to excel, the chance to get beyond where you are, to refresh your skills and leap into the future. You need the option to be local, the possibility of growth where your roots are, while taking care of you and your loved ones. You need the option of a helping hand, the occasion to talk to someone who can help you take yourself to the next level. Go far, close to home. Northwest Mississippi Community College.
Hi, folks, Bob Burke of the Sunrise Buick GMC truck. Thinking about buying a new or used car or truck? Remember, the selection's better and the savings are bigger at Sunrise. Over 600 new cars and trucks to choose from. Factory rebates up to $1,000 and interest rates low as 2.9. Bad credit? It's okay. At Sunrise, we've got a financing plan for everybody. SunriseMemphis.com. We're saving you money. It's just the way you're doing business. Covington, Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville. We make it fun to buy a car again. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Thanks to Sunrise.
Good morning. I'm Amanda Hansen here at the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Let's talk about vaping among young people. It's apparently on the rise. In fact, I was looking at some new research that was saying more than 16% of high school students and almost 5% of middle school students reported using a tobacco product. So we're going to dive into this a little bit more. We have someone joining us right now, Dr. Susan Wally. She is here to talk more about this, give advice to parents. Doctor, good morning.
Hi, Amanda. Thanks so much for having me.
So glad to have you on. I think this is such a big topic, especially for parents, knowing what they can do to make sure that their child isn't vaping and doing these sorts of things. So let's just talk about some of the products that, nicotine products that they're using, and then just, is this at a point where you could consider this a crisis among teens?
Absolutely, Amanda. I mean, we at the American Academy of Pediatrics, and I'm a parent of 3 boys and a pediatrician, this is a public health crisis. You know, we have adolescents who are not able to make it through their day because of severe nicotine addiction. And we know the reasons for that. You know, tobacco companies have, deceptively marketed these products and added flavors that include child enticing flavors like dessert, candy, things like Sour Patch Kids and chocolate and mango. And we know that these flavors attract our youth. And so, as you mentioned, you know, vaping is at a point where it is a public health crisis. There are also other nicotine and tobacco products, including oral nicotine pouches, gummies, lozenges. And so we at the American Academy of Pediatrics want, you know, parents to know that, you know, they can talk with their children, let them know that, you know, this is a dangerous health condition in terms of nicotine addiction.
So let's talk about that a little bit more. How parents, what can they do? Are there steps that they can take to protect their children and prevent them from using these types of products? What can they do?
Absolutely. There's so many things that we as parents can do. And first and foremost, we want parents to know that they are their child's most important role model. So if a parent is using tobacco and nicotine, you know, I want parents to know, your listeners to know, that there are a lot of resources out there to help them quit. We know that children who have parents and other caregivers that use tobacco are more likely to use themselves. And so that's number one. And then number two, we want parents and other caretakers to talk to their children. Let them know that there are health effects, negative, very severe health effects, including something called EVALI, e-cigarette or vaping-associated lung injury. That's been associated with thousands of hospitalizations, death, you know, lung transplant due to lung failure. And so, you know, having that message out there is really important. Parents can also be advocates. And so the American Academy of Pediatrics strongly urges, communities and, both at the local, state, and federal level to make sure that they're enforcing policies that, protect our children. First and foremost, the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, has regulatory authority over nicotine and tobacco, and we want to make sure that they exert and they regulate using that authority.
So let's, I know this is such an issue. I remember especially during the pandemic just talking about all those young people that were in the hospital with the lung issues and having to be on ventilators and things like that. So obviously a lot of information. Where can people go to learn a little bit more about some of the things that we talked about?
Absolutely. So the American Academy of Pediatrics has a wonderful website called healthychildren.org. And it, explains the concerns about vaping and e-cigarette use, as well as, nicotine and tobacco addiction. It also has lots of great information just about, having healthy children and other child health issues. So healthychildren.org.
Well, Dr. Susan Wally, I appreciate your time this morning talking about such an important topic and some great information for those parents out there. You have a good one, all right?
Thank you, Amanda.
Bank with confidence at First South Financial, one of the top 1% of financial institutions in the U.S. for strength and stability. Visit firstsouth.com today.
First South Financial, banking with friends since 1957.
Hey, did you hear the news? If not, catch up now with Action News 5's official YouTube channel. You can like, comment, and share the stories that matter to you. Meet the Action News 5 team and get a blast from the past in the Action News 5 vault. Top stories and special reports you may have missed or just want to watch again are added daily, so you can stay in the know in the 901. Visit youtube.com/Action News 5 and never miss out on the exciting things happening around you.
I'm Bobby Jones of Delta Medicare Benefits Group, the Mid-South's #1 trusted source for all things Medicare. At Delta Medicare Benefits Group, you work with local Mid-Southerners. There's no 800 number, no machines to talk to, just local Medicare experts. Together, we'll come up with the best Medicare plan that fits your individual needs. Call today for your free Medicare consultation at 460-7220 or stop by our office at 5050 Poplar Avenue.
Bank with confidence at First South Financial, one of the top 1% of financial institutions in the U.S. for strength and stability. Visit firstsouth.com today.
First South Financial, banking with friends since 1957.
Each year, the VA serves nearly 500,000 veterans who are diagnosed and treated for cancer, making the Veterans Affairs Hospital the largest integrated provider of oncology in the country. And there's some world-class care that is going on there. I want to bring in Dr. Michael Kelly. He's the National Program Director of Oncology for the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. He's joining us now to talk about the care. Dr. Kelly, good morning to you. I know May is National Cancer Researcher Wellness Month. Tell me about the research and the kind of trials and care that veterans get. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, and thanks for having me. So first of all, getting a cancer diagnosis can be quite upsetting to the veteran or their family and friends. VA has a comprehensive care program for cancer, and we are able to stand shoulder to shoulder with them during their cancer journey. So part of that care package is access to research because we want to improve the care that we have available. We do that through several different mechanisms, one of which is called clinical trials. These are actually treatments generally that are either new or improved versions, and the clinical trial provides an opportunity for a veteran to consider that as a treatment for their particular type of cancer. We also learn from the medical records of veterans who have already been treated with cancer. We learn new information that can be applied to the next patient who comes along. We partner with a variety of leading cutting-edge institutions in the country to bring advanced technologies to veterans. This includes things such as molecular genetics and artificial intelligence. And when we apply all of this, these research findings
that improves the lives of veterans who are affected by cancer, as well as those throughout the country who might be affected by cancer.
I understand the VA is working with all kinds of clinical research out there, other partners to make clinical trials more accessible outside of the VA. And I know that you guys are heavily involved in virtual care, telehealth, that sort of thing. Can you explain some of the different things that you guys are doing outside of the VA?
Yes. So outside of the VA, so not all clinical trials that are appropriate for a particular veteran are available in the VA. So when that occurs, we try to identify what options a veteran has outside the VA and help them understand what the risks and benefits are of participating in such a clinical trial would be. And then VA can then support that patient as they go to that other institution to get the clinical trial. But we're also able to use telehealth within the VA to deliver great cancer care. We have experts that we recruit from the top cancer centers in the country to be able to be available that are specialists in specific types of cancers. And those cancers that the veteran has is then matched with that specific expert by telehealth, so that when you are seeing a patient, when you are seeing a doctor, that doctor maybe has done the research in that particular cancer type that you have, so that you are able to get that information and the care delivered at your local VA medical center, even if the expert is somewhere else in the country.
What can we all do, Dr. Kelly, to prevent cancer? Is there any, one thing that we can all do?
Not one thing, but there are several things that we should all consider doing. So first of all, avoiding things that cause cancer, such as smoking. Don't smoke. Avoid exposure to the sun. And there are some viruses that cause cancer for which there are vaccines, such as HPV. You can talk to your doctor about whether that's appropriate for you. You can get early detection of cancer, so that doesn't prevent the cancer, but it reduces the chance of dying from the cancer. For colon cancer, lung cancer, and for women, breast and cervical cancer. Again, talk to your doctor about what cancer screenings would be available. Next, you should maintain a healthy body weight and exercise. We know that that reduces cancer risk for a variety of different types of cancers. And finally, if cancer seems to run in your family, talk to your doctor about whether getting genetic testing would be appropriate for you and your family.
Is there a place we can go online and maybe kind of learn some of the information you mentioned here, maybe do a deep dive online?
Yes, there's a lot of information available about VA's cancer programs, both clinical care and research, at cancer.va.gov.
Okay, Dr. Michael Kelly, National Program Director for Oncology, U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. We appreciate your time this morning, Doctor. Thanks so very much.
Thank you for having me.
Get ready to splash into summer at the YMCA. With 2 great options to join the Y, there's something for everyone. Choose the Summer Splash Pass and enjoy the outdoor pools and splash pads now through September. Or take 20% off regular monthly memberships and keep saving for life. And you get all the great benefits of the YMCA with family and individual membership options. Visit the website at ymcamemphis.org for full details and to join today.
Good morning, everyone. Andrew Douglas here in the Action News 5 digital desk. I want to show you this. This is Vaughn Lane. It is luxury motor coach services that's going to be opening up from Memphis to Nashville and Nashville to Memphis. It's starting, and it's something that we're going to be seeing more and more often. It begins actually today. The CEO of Vaughn Lane joining us now on the Action News 5 digital desk, Alex Danza, joining us to talk more about what this is all about. So this motor coach service, it is a premium luxury motor coach service. Alex, tell me more about it. Good morning.
You got it. And today is the first day of travel between Memphis and Nashville. We're super excited. And it's a luxury motor coach. We're giving people in Tennessee another option to get between these 2 great cities, because you folks have to connect to an airport outside the state of Tennessee if you want to fly between Memphis and Nashville. And so what we've done is taken a full-size 45-foot motor coach We customize the inside and make it more like a first-class private jet cabin. We go down to just 22 big oversized seats, tons of leg room, recline, a leg rest, and we have an attendant aboard that really fusses over you the whole trip, serving meals and drinks and snacks that are all included in your fare. And so if you're a business traveler, you can get lots of work done. We have workspace. And if you're a leisure traveler, you can just relax, let us handle the driving, look up, and you're in Nashville.
That sounds great. And from what I understand, this is you're going to be traveling, it looks like, every single day. Monday, Thursday, and Friday, you're going to have different times when you leave. Tuesday and Wednesday, a couple different times, and then Saturday and Sunday. Was there just a huge demand for this? Tell me some of the reasons behind it all.
There is. I mean, Americans in general are on the move more. Airline travel is stressful. Driving yourself is exhausting. And so for a route that is about a 3-hour drive, flying just doesn't make sense. And so without a high-speed rail in many cities, this is a great option. And when you give people a really luxurious first-class product, they're willing to leave their car behind and travel with us. And again, if you're a business traveler, you've just turned that 3-hour drive into very productive travel time. You're working the entire trip. And if you're a leisure traveler, we're giving you what we call the behind the curtain experience. If you remember pre 9/11, we used to have a curtain between economy and coach and first class on an airplane. And so we want everyone to have that experience of traveling first class with meal service and amenities, pillows, blankets, eye masks, you name it, we've got it aboard for you. So it's a truly luxurious experience.
All right, so you mentioned that there is an attendant there offering kind of drinks and meals. What kind of meals? Is it just snacks? Is it, give me some details.
Sure. Yeah, sure. A morning trip like today, we have passengers traveling right now on our inaugural trip. They enjoyed muffins and yogurt. And an afternoon trip, we'll have a great chicken Caesar salad or a wrap or a great sandwich, side items like chips and nuts and crackers, you name it. So when it comes to beverages, we have a full assortment of beverages aboard. And so we've really tried to think of everything. If you forgot a charger for your phone, we've got a charger for your phone. If you want some noise canceling headphones, we've got those for you. It's a very robust first class experience.
Okay, and we understand it's $109 one way, $218 round trip. What about when it comes to luggage? Is there a certain amount that people can bring?
Yeah, so we allow complimentary 2 50-pound bags that will be stored in the luggage bay under the motor coach, and then a small carry-on that you can bring up top with you to ride with your laptop or your iPad or whatnot. And there's no fee for that.
Gotcha. Okay. And how can people just kind of reserve a space? What can they do to really kind of get more information on this?
Yeah, it's very similar to booking an airline ticket. If you go to our website, vonlane.com, VONLANE.com, you will be able to search the schedule. There's most days of the week. There are 4 departures starting at 6 a.m., ending at 6 p.m., going from Memphis to Nashville, and the same coming the other direction. You'll pick your trip. You'll pick your seat. You'll get a confirmation, and you'll board with your ID. Very easy boarding process. We board 15 minutes before departure. So again, we're saving you that time typically at the airport where you're standing around for a long time at an airport waiting for a plane to board. With us, you can arrive 15 minutes before departure, come aboard, start relaxing, or start working if you're a business traveler.
Okay, Alex, I really appreciate all this. This sounds fantastic. The buses look amazing. Anything else that we can talk about for our viewers? We have thousands that join us each and every morning on the digital desk. Maybe someone's asking about perhaps, tips and that sort of thing. How does that work out?
Sure. There's no need for gratuity for our crew. They are there to serve and they enjoy what they're doing. And so we want your fare to be all-inclusive of everything that you're going to experience aboard the motor coach. And so what we're really striving for is just an easy, stress-free travel experience. A lot of folks have gotten that speeding ticket driving from Memphis to Nashville. Let us take the wheel and let us worry about that. We've got the most professional, safest drivers in our industry. Our hiring standards are some of the highest in the space. So you know that you're going to be safe aboard the motor coach while being productive, while resting, while relaxing. It's a great experience that we give you. We've been doing this for 9 years now in the state of Texas, and we serve all the major cities in Texas. We've driven 20 million miles, and we've built a great product in Texas. And when we look to expand, Tennessee was the first place we went, and we started Nashville to Atlanta in November, and now we're super excited today to start Nashville to Memphis and Memphis to Nashville.
Okay, and 40 weekly departures starting today. Alex Danza, we really appreciate you. Thanks for coming on the digital desk, and thanks for filling us in on Vaughn Lane and the service that you have to offer between Memphis and Nashville. Have a great weekend.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis here with you on ActionNews5.com and our digital platforms. We are starting off with temperatures in the 60s on our way up into the lower 80s this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies. A stray downpour can't be ruled out as we go through the latter portion of the day. Vast majority of us in the Mid-South will stay dry today. The best chances for a shower will likely be along I-22 down in northeast Mississippi. Partly clear tonight, a few showers possible late, mainly in North Mississippi again. The overnight lows in the outlying areas in the upper 50s to near 60, and in the Shelby County area, lower to middle 60s expected. A small chance of a shower to start off tomorrow, but we will likely get through the day pretty quietly, dry and quiet across the Mid-South. Outside of that, though, we are watching storms down across the coastal empire of Georgia, the low country of South Carolina and eastern North Carolina. That is an area of low pressure that will not be heading in our direction, but some of its energy will have some impacts for East Tennessee. So if you have travel plans along I-40 heading out towards East Tennessee, Gatlinburg, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, through the Smoky Mountains, could have to deal with some rain showers and cooler temperatures on the other side of the mountains heading over into North Carolina. 50s for highs out towards Raleigh, North Carolina this upcoming weekend. Definitely not feeling like the unofficial start to summer. Back here in West Tennessee, eastern Arkansas, North Mississippi, we're looking a lot better for our upcoming weekend forecast. Let's go hour by hour with the futurecast. Not much going on. There is a frontal boundary moving through North Mississippi this morning. That is what's going to be the catalyst for a few of those pop-up downpours. There are not many out there this afternoon, but a few of you could get underneath a shower or two for Lafayette County, Benton, Tippah, and Alcorn counties. Wouldn't be surprised. McNairy and Hardeman counties, you might get a quick shower as well. Upper 70s to lower 80s expected here on your Friday. Tonight we'll bottom out down through the 50s and 60s. Places like Dyersburg out towards Alamo, Nutbush, Tennessee, and Brownsville. We're talking about temperatures in the upper 50s to lower 60s. Not bad. But look at what we got going on in North Mississippi. Yet again, that frontal boundary and an upper disturbance overhead will help to facilitate a couple of showers. Places like Marks and Sledge over towards Batesville and Como, we might get a shower or two in the morning. Then through the afternoon, sunshine breaks back out, but that sunshine underneath that pinwheeling upper low could get a couple of showers and thunderstorms to flare up even around the Memphis metro area and Shelby County. So we'll be watching that, but I don't think we're talking severe weather, but some heavy downpours, not completely off of the table. They'll generally stay east of the Mississippi River, but there could be some downpours at critical times tomorrow afternoon and early evening. They'll fade away after sunset. Then that upper disturbance gets a little bit closer to us. You see it pinwheeling over towards places like East Tennessee, the Cumberland Plateau. We might get a shower in eastern portions of our coverage area, but most of us likely to stay dry going into your Sunday. There's your Saturday rain chances, generally south of the I-40 corridor with a slightly better chance for seeing a few showers and storms. Bluff City Fair continues tonight and going through the upcoming weekend. 82 the temperature at 4 o'clock, by 10 o'clock in the upper 60s with a northeasterly wind. Tomorrow morning, the Great American River Run going from Beale Street to Beale Street, not looking half bad. 61 at 7 a.m., 68 by 9 o'clock. Could be a rogue shower or two. We'll watch that closely. And the Memphis Showboats back in town yet again for another homestand, and not looking half bad for hopefully win number 4 in a row. Upper 70s at kickoff to the lower 80s by the fourth quarter. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast for the Mid-South. 82 the high temperature for today. Slightly better chances for a shower or thunderstorm on Saturday. Not a washout by any stretch, but don't be surprised if you have to tangle with a shower or storm on Saturday afternoon. We'll dry it up for Sunday, Memorial Day itself, for any commemorations around the region, mostly to partly sunny skies, middle 80s there to the upper 80s to low 90s heading into the end of May.
Why won't you go? No one deserves to live like this. When it's time for a plumber, you deserve the best. Best Care Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
All right, late spring and, of course, early summer, we're going to be seeing temperatures creep up, up, and up. Today is supposed to be in the 80s. It's going to be warmer than that throughout the week. And as we approach June, July, August, look out, it's going to be hot. So we want to make sure that our system is completely up to date. We want to make sure that the AC is ready to go before the big summer demand. So let's bring in Michael Williford. He's the HVAC service manager for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Mike, tell us, what is the first thing that people need to know when they go into the summer months with regards to HVAC? Good morning.
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me. The first thing I would say is always make sure that you're checking your air filter once a month. A lot of these air filters will say last up to 90 days. Keep in mind that's up to 90 days. So you want to check it every month. You don't just want to put it in there and, forget about it.
Okay, good stuff. So you have to be very concerned about that air filter. I hear that all the time. Should we be changing it twice a year, once a quarter? What do you think?
The maximum is going to be 90 days. Most people are going to average between 1 to 2 months, but that's why it's important you check it every 30 days. When you get your electric bill, let that be your reminder.
Gotcha. And do you guys recommend a certain type of filter? I see different ones. I see of course, I look at it, most expensive ones, and then the LG Pose.
Yeah, there are varying different types, and it all depends on your lifestyle. What I used to tell people when I was in the field is something that's sort of in the middle, not the most expensive, but not the most cheapest, is the safe option. When you have someone to come out for your maintenance, consult with them and ask them what they think.
Good advice there. Okay, so what else? What else do we need to know? I know that when it comes to my family, what we try to do is always stay in touch with our HVAC person and make sure we get inspections twice a year. Is that pretty much standard?
Yes, that's pretty much standard. And the earlier you can do it, the better.
Okay, and you recommend what? Once
spring and for the cooling, and early fall for the winter. Yes.
Gotcha. So let's talk about some of the biggest problems that people have with HVAC as we head into the summer months.
Okay, well, there's a number of things. There's some electrical components that fail. We see, sadly, more refrigerant leaks now than ever, so people are, low on refrigerant. Those are the two main things that we see out in the field.
So let's say someone has a problem out there and they need, and they're not sure if they need a professional or not. What's a good rule of thumb if you need a professional versus you just kind of trying to solve it yourself?
Well, good rule of thumb I would give is if it's not working, do a look and see. Is the outside running like it normally is supposed to? Do you have air blowing through your vents like you normally would? I always tell people to shut it off until we get there. You're not going to do your system any good by trying to let it run until we get there. You can only cause more harm.
So one of the big questions people have is, all right, Michael, how do I bring down my bill? You know, the bill's sky high. We got inflation killing us all, you know, at the grocery store and everything. How do I bring down my HVAC bill? Tell me.
Well, regular maintenance for starters. The Department of Energy says that just paying, that just having the maintenance done every year really pays for itself. So that would be the first thing. The second thing is in the hot parts of the day, close all drapes, blinds, keep any of that sunlight out. Those are the two main things.
Where do you stand on where to keep your temperature during the day? Do you? I know MLGW and some others have something where they send out like 78 degrees during the day or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that is what they say for the most energy conservation. Now, in reality, some people don't want it that high. What I tell people is if you turn it up while you say you're gone for work, let's say you normally like it 72 in your house. You don't want to turn it up to 80 while you're gone from work, because then when you get home, it just takes all that time to catch up. So typically I would say that if you're going to turn it up while you're, say, gone for work, just do about 2-3 degrees maximum.
At what point should someone really consider replacing their unit? You know, each unit it seems to be more efficient than the last, and your bill goes down with that better efficiency type unit. At what point do you need to say, okay, maybe I should spend the money, get a new unit that's much more efficient, my bills will go down in the long term?
Yes, anything, good rule of thumb, anytime you have a repair that's over $1,000 and your equipment is also over $1,000, that's when you want to consult with your professional. Get all your options, get your repair options, but at that point you would want to start at least considering replacement.
You know, Michael, we've touched on a lot here. Is there anything else you want to mention? A lot of people like to go to YouTube and maybe try and solve, some of the troubleshooting themselves. Anything else you want to mention with regards to maybe do it yourself, calling an expert, HVAC, efficiency, anything else?
Safety is key when you're doing that. That would be the number one thing I would say. If you're going to try to investigate it yourself, just be sure you're being 100% safe.
All right, Michael Williford, HVAC Service Manager with Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Appreciate your time. Have a safe and happy late spring and summer. Appreciate it.
Cutting out cable doesn't mean you have to cut out local news. Action News 5 makes it easy to keep up with what's happening in the 901 through Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can watch breaking news and weather from anywhere we go live, like and comment on the stories that matter to you, and share your ideas directly with us. So tap in using your phone, tablet, or computer, making it easy to stay in the know in the 901. We're taking action for you. WMC Action News 5. Find us wherever you scroll.
Hi, I'm Jaren Jackson Jr. of the Memphis Grizzlies, and I am officially vaccinated. I cannot wait to get back to spending time with my family and friends. I think people should do their research and make sure they get informed on the vaccine, and I definitely did that. I definitely looked up side effects, everything that I could find out, and I felt like it was still in my best interest to get the vaccine as well for anybody, really. So I'm encouraging everybody to do that.
Okay, Andrew Douglas here in the Action News 5 digital desk. Parties atop the Peabody Hotel. Have you been to one of those on Thursday nights? There was just one last night. It's amazing, okay? And it's been a tradition for so long for so many people across Memphis and the Mid-South. And this year, the South's Grand Hotel celebrating 8 decades of music, fun, and one of the best views this side of the Mississippi. It's a 5-star story Kim Clark focused on. Check it out.
Party season has begun again, high atop the Peabody Hotel in the heart of downtown Memphis. These rooftop rooftop soirees have a long history.
84 years we have been having parties on the rooftop of the Peabody Hotels.
According to Kelly Brock, the hotel's director of marketing and communications, the hotel's rooftop parties began in 1939 after the east end of the roof was enclosed, becoming the Skyway Ballroom.
And that was when they really started having rooftop parties out on the roof, as well as parties in here in the wintertime and during the rain. And it was the place to be for big bands and for swing dancers. All of the big national acts, the touring acts, performed here for sometimes weeks at a time. You had the Andrews Sisters and Lawrence Welk. You had Ozzie and Harriet, Tommy Dorsey's band, and George Hamilton.
Yes, that George Hamilton, father to actor George Hamilton Jr., who spent a lot of time performing on the hotel's roof.
And George Hamilton Jr. was actually born here in Memphis and spent weeks as a child growing up here at the hotel, watching his father perform here in the Skyway Ballroom and watching the Ducks in the lobby.
The hotel's Sunset Serenades, as they were called back then, were also an important part of the entertainment industry as a whole.
And this ballroom and the rooftop were one of the only 3 live recording sites for CBS Radio at the time. So you would hear broadcasts throughout the nation, live from atop the Peabody Hotel.
The Sunset Serenades ended briefly in 1975 when the hotel closed, but started up again in 1981 after the hotel reopened.
And eventually we renamed them as Peabody Rooftop Parties, and they've been going on ever since, and they are as popular as ever.
Though the fashions, music, and diversity of attendees are different now than when it all began, some things remain the same.
We still have live music and a DJ.
Skyway Ballroom also intentionally maintained to appear as it did back in 1939, from the Lawrence Welk-inspired carpet, note the bubbles, to the lighting.
You still have the pink neon lighting that you had. It's very Art Deco style at the time.
As Brock told us, the Peabody Rooftop is still one of the best places in town to sit and have a drink with friends and watch the sunset over the Mississippi River. Or possibly make a love match like so many before.
There's fantastic stories from folks that came here in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, and then there's people still doing the same thing today, coming up here with their friends, and maybe they meet their future husband or their future wife. And it's stories like that that are just, that's the heart of the Peabody.
The Peabody Rooftop Parties, still going strong and welcoming all who attend, while making lifelong memories and connections. In downtown Memphis, Kim Clark, Action News 5.
Here's a life hack. While you're physically at work, you can be mentally somewhere else entirely. So grab a refreshing summer edition Red Bull slush and imagine.
Wolf River Conservancy is planning its annual Discover the Greenway awareness and fundraising campaign. Emphasize the word fun. Joining us now to talk more about it is Susan Graham. She is the Wolf River's new Chief Development Officer. Susan, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you today?
I'm really good, and you know, we've talked a lot about the Wolf River Conservancy, and last year we talked about the Discover the Greenway. It seemed like there was a great turnout. For people that maybe aren't familiar with this, talk a little bit more about it.
Absolutely, would love to. It's a week-long event starting on June 3rd for an opportunity for everyone to come out and discover the Greenway. Everything from paddling events on Saturday and Sunday to goat yoga on Monday. We even include a selfie contest for folks to get out and explore certain spots along the Greenway. And then this year, we're excited to share that we've got on Saturday our 5K plus race taking place on the Greenway, featuring the new bridge that's out there on the path. It's beautiful and exciting to have our runners and our participants join us as a culmination at the end of the week. We'll have a celebration at the end with barbecue and music and all the things you could possibly want at the end of a nice race, and a great week discovering the Greenway.
You know, I think it's the beauty of Memphis, the fact that we live in a city, but we also have these areas like this that we can go and explore and almost kind of feel like we're outside of the city, but still in the city. And I love the ideas because they're family things. Paddling on the Wolf, the sunset yoga. I've had a lot of friends that have enjoyed that. The goat yoga too. It's always something a little different. You can get some really good pictures and all that doing that. So let's talk about the whole purpose of this and why y'all are really putting together this week-long of events just to highlight some of the great things we have here.
Absolutely. So we were founded back in 1985, and our mission is to preserve and protect the Wolf River and the watershed. A lot of people may not know that the Wolf River's efforts that protect the watershed and the aquifer here in Memphis that supplies all of the great water that we enjoy in the city. But the Discover the Greenway project was created kind of out of a COVID piece because it used to be a cycle event. And then when COVID hit, it wasn't going to be a great idea to pull people together in such tight space. So we discovered the Greenway, which was a week-long event that allows folks to kind of get out there and explore this asset that we have in the city that makes you think you might not be in the city the way it looks out there, where you can learn a little bit more about the flora and the conservation that we do, educate a little bit more about what's happening out there, and get on the Greenway and get out and explore the nature that we have here, because you may not believe how beautiful it truly is when you take a step outside the city and onto the path.
And really, it's therapeutic to be able to get out in nature and to kind of escape from the everyday, kind of turn off the phone, get out in nature and enjoy it. And I know that obviously this isn't the first time that y'all have done something like this. Let's talk a little bit about the response and the turnout that you've had at these things.
Absolutely. So great response. We're expecting about 300 participants this year. And then the best part about it, Amanda, is when folks get out there and they're doing their selfies and they're posting on social media, hashtag Discover 2023. It'll be a great experience for everyone, and then expose a little bit more about what we're doing, because I think we're a secret gem that a lot more folks could know about. And so, yep, we're expecting a great crowd every night. The events take place in the evening, the yogas and the nature walks, and then the race kicks off on Saturday at 8 a.m.
And I'm one of those people that I love to get out and kayak. I've kayaked the Wolf River. I love it. Let's talk a little bit about, you've talked about all these different events. Is this something that is free, open to anyone? What do people need to know before they come out? Are they going to have to rent kayaks? Talk a little bit about that side of things.
Right. Absolutely. So on our website, wolfriver.org, you can register for the event. There's actually two opportunities to register. You can register for the Discover the Greenway event that takes place on Saturday, June 3rd, all the way through that Friday. And you can also register for the 5K Plus event. If you register for one, you get a free access to the other. You get the t-shirt, a bag of goodies that include some prizes from our sponsors. We're excited to announce that Jim Kerr Subaru is presenting the Discover the Greenway event this year. So thrilled to have them on board. So you can pick up your goodies and then be registered for the event. And for some of those yoga events and the kayaks, those are all supplied for you. We've got river guides to teach you how to paddle if you've never paddled before. So everything's supplied for you. All you need to do is jump on wolfriver.org and get registered.
And how much is it to get registered?
Right now it's $30. Event day on Saturday, it goes up to $40. So jump in there now.
And the beauty of this is, like you said, the money that's raised during this goes right back into the work that y'all are doing. I don't know if you want to touch a little bit more on that.
Absolutely. Yes. We're so thrilled to have the registrations start lining up now, and for everyone that's participated or even participated in the past, knowing that their gifts and their donations help support our mission, whether it's through our conservation or our education programs or our recreation programs. It all goes towards supporting the Wolf River and conserving the river itself and the watershed that's there. So, it's a great natural resource, and the donations are hard at work preserving that land and continuing to do that for future generations.
Well, Susan, I've enjoyed having you here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Anything we missed? Anything else you want to touch on before we let you go this morning?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and visit that website, wolfriver.org. Register to join us in June. You won't want to miss this.
First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis here with you on ActionNews5.com and our digital platforms. We are starting off with temperatures in the 60s on our way up into the lower 80s this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies. A stray downpour can't be ruled out as we go through the latter portion of the day. Vast majority of us in the Mid-South will stay dry today. The best chances for a shower will likely be along I-22 down in northeast Mississippi. Partly clear tonight, a few showers possible late, mainly in North Mississippi again. The overnight lows in the outlying areas in the upper 50s to near 60, and in the Shelby County area, lower to middle 60s expected. A small chance of a shower to start off tomorrow, but we will likely get through the day pretty quietly, dry and quiet across the Mid-South. Outside of that, though, we are watching storms down across the coastal empire of Georgia, the low country of South Carolina and eastern North Carolina. That is an area of low pressure that will not be heading in our direction, but some of its energy will have some impacts for East Tennessee. So if you have travel plans along I-40 heading out towards East Tennessee, Gatlinburg, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, through the Smoky Mountains, could have to deal with some rain showers and cooler temperatures on the other side of the mountains heading over into North Carolina. 50s for highs out towards Raleigh, North Carolina this upcoming weekend. Definitely not feeling like the unofficial start to summer. Back here in West Tennessee, eastern Arkansas, North Mississippi, we're looking a lot better for our upcoming weekend forecast. Let's go hour by hour with the futurecast. Not much going on. There is a frontal boundary moving through North Mississippi this morning. That is what's going to be the catalyst for a few of those pop-up downpours. There are not many out there this afternoon, but a few of you could get underneath a shower or two for Lafayette County, Benton, Tippah, and Alcorn counties. Wouldn't be surprised. McNairy and Hardeman counties, you might get a quick shower as well. Upper 70s to lower 80s expected here on your Friday. Tonight we'll bottom out down through the 50s and 60s. Places like Dyersburg out towards Alamo, Nutbush, Tennessee, and Brownsville. We're talking about temperatures in the upper 50s to lower 60s. Not bad. But look at what we got going on in North Mississippi. Yet again, that frontal boundary and an upper disturbance overhead will help to facilitate a couple of showers. Places like Marks and Sledge over towards Batesville and Como, we might get a shower or two in the morning. Then through the afternoon, sunshine breaks back out, but that sunshine underneath that pinwheeling upper low could get a couple of showers and thunderstorms to flare up even around the Memphis metro area and Shelby County. So we'll be watching that, but I don't think we're talking severe weather, but some heavy downpours, not completely off of the table. They'll generally stay east of the Mississippi River, but there could be some downpours at critical times tomorrow afternoon and early evening. They'll fade away after sunset. Then that upper disturbance gets a little bit closer to us. You see it pinwheeling over towards places like East Tennessee, the Cumberland Plateau. We might get a shower in eastern portions of our coverage area, but most of us likely to stay dry going into your Sunday. There's your Saturday rain chances, generally south of the I-40 corridor with a slightly better chance for seeing a few showers and storms. Bluff City Fair continues tonight and going through the upcoming weekend. 82 the temperature at 4 o'clock, by 10 o'clock in the upper 60s with a northeasterly wind. Tomorrow morning, the Great American River Run going from Beale Street to Beale Street, not looking half bad. 61 at 7 a.m., 68 by 9 o'clock. Could be a rogue shower or two. We'll watch that closely. And the Memphis Showboats back in town yet again for another homestand, and not looking half bad for hopefully win number 4 in a row. Upper 70s at kickoff to the lower 80s by the fourth quarter. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast for the Mid-South. 82 the high temperature for today. Slightly better chances for a shower or thunderstorm on Saturday. Not a washout by any stretch, but don't be surprised if you have to tangle with a shower or storm on Saturday afternoon. We'll dry it up for Sunday, Memorial Day itself, for any commemorations around the region, mostly to partly sunny skies, middle 80s there to the upper 80s to low 90s heading into the end of May.
Hey, I'm Brian Reed with Best Care Plumbing, Heating, and Air. And in the dog days of summer, a dirty air conditioner can leave you in the doghouse. Good news, it's tune-up time at Best Care. For $69, we'll keep you out of trouble. Let us wash away the dirt and grime of winter from your air conditioner as part of our 24-point inspection for only $69. And we'll also include a leak check at no charge. Call us today and ask about our early bird special, and we'll perform your tune-up for only $57. And when it comes to your comfort, you deserve the best. Best Care Home.
Okay, Andrew Douglas in the Action News 5 digital desk. Let's talk about the weekend. First off, we can always talk about the weekend, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, doesn't matter. We want to talk about the weekend. And this weekend, the unofficial start of summer. It is Memorial Day weekend. And man, oh man, if you have plans, even if you don't have plans, you always want to be outside for a good portion of it, to maybe do some grilling, hang out with family and friends. And you got to worry about certain things, though, as we approach the summer months, as we approach Memorial Day weekend. Let's bring in Regina Goulder. She's a nurse practitioner with Methodist Le Bonheur Healthcare. Regina, good morning to you. Tell me, from your perspective, the number one thing that people need to keep top of mind as we head into Memorial Day weekend. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Okay, number one thing is safety. We're all looking out to be safe this weekend. Summer is here. It's going to be warm. We got to start looking into grilling safety, keeping cool while we're outside working in our yard and our gardens for many of the people around here that have gardens, boating and pool safety, and of course, health safety as well.
Yeah, there's a lot there. I mean, we're talking about several different things because people like to, I mean, obviously Memorial Day weekend is where we honor those who have worn the uniform and have died. But, you know, a lot of people look at it as the unofficial start of summer. So there's people that are maybe boating out on the lake, swimming in the pool. There's also grilling, grilling some food outside, maybe some fireworks as well. And so we just, and safety, of course, is top of mind. Where do people often get in trouble? I guess one of the things that I think of right off the bat when I think of my kids is sun exposure and heat exposure, and also you know, like sunburns and stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me start with heat stroke warnings, because that's going to be big with people working in the yard. A lot of people use this long weekend to get their flower beds in order. So signs of heat stroke would include headache, nausea, lightheadedness, confusion. You sweat profusely, but then you'll stop sweating. So that's important to realize that if you have been sweating and then you stop sweating, you need to hydrate more. If you've been outside in the heat and you start feeling any of these, it's important to seek medical attention, because you will probably need fluids and hydration and medical watch after that. The other thing is wearing sunscreen. I know we preach about sunscreen with skin cancer, but it is very important to protect our skin. Even on overcast days, you need to be wearing sunscreen with SPF of at least 45 to 50 on your face, shoulders, all sensitive areas. Wearing hats are a good idea when you're outside to prevent the sunlight from directly hitting you in the eyes and the face. As far as pool safety, that's always big this weekend, because a lot of people have opened their pools. So we want to make sure that children aren't unattended and that they're wearing proper life vest and that they're worn correctly. And this goes for boating safety too, making sure that everybody is wearing the proper life vest and that they're buttoned correctly, that our smaller toddlers have them buttoned under their legs. This is very important in the lake to make sure that is buttoned. And so, as I say, like, attention to children, because a lot of times we get distracted with grilling and friends and we're not watching appropriately. So keeping all eyes and toward the water is something to do for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with the water and sun exposure. Two big issues as we head into the weekend. You know, later in the summer, we talk about fireworks, I guess you could say, you know, with 4th of July coming. And so.
Well, it starts this weekend, too. We see a lot of injuries with fireworks because people do. And I worked at Le Bonheur and the Children's Hospital for many years, and that is a big issue, them trying to hold fireworks in their hands and eye injuries from fireworks. So it is very important to have proper supervision when using fireworks. Make sure there's an adult around. Any of those, even sparklers, can be dangerous because that firework can go off in their eyes. So that's very important. We start seeing that at the beginning of summer because of Memorial Day weekend.
Anything else, Regina, that we haven't touched on you feel is important when it comes to safety and just some friendly reminders, suggestions for people out there?
Yeah, I mean, I know that the question is still up about COVID-19 and is this still an issue? I mean, we are still using the same precautions, although the risk is drastically lower than last year. If you're feeling sick, stay at home. Outdoor gatherings, which is great this time of year with our great weather. It's always best to do that, and practicing good hand hygiene, using sanitizer, washing your hands. I mean, if it makes you comfortable, still wear a mask. But that's not, like I said, our risks are a lot lower, but we still need to be mindful of, if we are sick, being around our elderly and immunocompromised patients.
Any place we can go, Regina, to maybe just kind of get some tips, maybe a place online where we can just kind of just go through the checklist?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the CDC is the best place to go for your tips about staying healthy and staying safe this holiday season. So CDC.com has great information to look for.
Okay, Regina Goulder, nurse practitioner with Methodist Le Bonheur Healthcare. We appreciate the time. Happy Memorial Day weekend to you. Enjoy the official, unofficial start of summer.
People need options. You need the option to excel, the chance to get beyond where you are, to refresh your skills and leap into the future. You need the option to be local, the possibility of growth where your roots are, while taking care of you and your loved ones. You need the option of a helping hand, the occasion to talk to someone who can help you take yourself to the next level. Go far, close to home. Northwest Mississippi Community College.
Hi, Bob Burke of the Sunrise Buick GMC truck. Thinking about buying a new or used car or truck? Remember, the selection's better and the savings are bigger at Sunrise. Over 600 new cars and trucks to choose from. Factory rebates up to $1,000 and interest rates low as 2.9. Bad credit? It's okay. At Sunrise, we've got a financing plan for everybody. SunriseMemphis.com. We're saving you money. It's just the way you're doing business. Covington, Pike, Old Chase, and Collierville. We make it fun to buy a car again. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Thanks to Sunrise.
Memorial Day weekend, the unofficial start of summer. A lot of people firing up the grill. There's going to be a lot of outdoor activities for sure. Let's bring in right now Dr. Ram Villamuri, and he's going to talk a little bit about what to expect and ways to really just kind of stay safe when it comes to grilling outside and preparing to grill outside with family and friends. Dr. Villamuri, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me today.
I appreciate you being here. I understand that you're part of the burn unit. Tell me what you see each and every day around the year, and then also Memorial Day weekend.
So, being part of the Firefighters Regional Burn Center, we are the largest ABA verified burn center in the region, covering almost 300 miles. And our admissions are about 400 per year. We get about 700 to 800 ER visits per year and about 1,000 patients who show up in our wound care center. Just important to remember, this is a very busy time of the year for us because we have the Memorial Day weekend followed by the 4th of July weekend that's coming up. So very, very common to get lots of patients with burn injuries from stuff that you just mentioned.
Okay, let's go through maybe 3 or 4 bullet points that people can do to prevent ending up with you this weekend.
So the first thing I would tell everybody is I call it the 3 Gs, the grilling, the gas, and the grease. So when you're grilling, I would recommend everybody, please do not grill inside your homes. We've seen patients who come in with burns from people who have had explosions of grills inside their homes. Also grill further from your home in a safe shelter, not covered by anything that can be flammable. At the same time, we have to make sure that kids are not around grills. Please, kids do not need to get burned, and they don't understand what is safe and what is not safe. And one important thing about grilling is that you need to make sure that it's not fun to see a patient who's grilled and has alcohol on board.
Very true, very true. Okay, so we know that there's going to be fireworks in some celebrations marking the unofficial start of summer. Of course, remembering as well those who wore the uniform and died for freedoms in this country. What should you do if, for whatever reason, given the rare chance that your clothing catches fire?
Well, that's a very important point. Stop, drop, and roll. Try to extinguish the fire, try to call 911, get the fire trucks on the way. And the most important is seek medical attention in a burn center that is preferably verified by the American Burn Association.
We know that a lot of people like to have fire pits going with s'mores, maybe some hot dogs, something else that's happening. Fire pits are always a lot of fun. They can be dangerous as well. How about some friendly reminders if someone's going to be hanging out in the fire pit this summer?
Again, great point for that, a great question. Try to avoid using accelerants to start a fire, because if you use that, there's more likelihood of it exploding back on you, and that's how you get the flash burns to the face, your beard, your nails kind of singe, you get burns to the eyes, and your clothes catch on fire. And when your clothes catch on fire, usually those present with third-degree burns. So keep those pits cool. Remember, they can stay hot for almost 12 hours. So again, keep your kids away from them. Try to extinguish them with, once you're done. But I reiterate, alcohol is not a good combination with fire pits.
What about when it comes to, let's say, unfortunately, you get burned, okay? At what point do you need to go see a doctor versus handling it with your own first aid kit at home?
This is an excellent question too. So one of the key indications to be seen by a burn surgeon in a verified center is burns that are greater than 10% of your body surface area. Any burns in kids, burns which are third degree, which happen from chemicals, electrical injuries, people who are elderly, who have diabetes, who have cardiac issues. Memphis has got a lot of patients with a high BMI, higher obesity and diabetes in the population. All of them should be encouraged to see a burn surgeon as soon as they can, either in the emergency room or in their clinic, so they can get the appropriate care and also appropriate surgery if required, rather than wait for infection or some kind of contracture that can happen.
Okay, and what about if you do, in fact, don't have that much of a serious burn, but you have a burn and you need to treat it at home?
So that's very important, because there's just three types of burns. First degree burns are like sunburns. In that case, your face is red or your body is red, but the skin's not peeling out. Those can be just treated with any kind of moisturizer. Just keep your skin hydrated. They usually hurt more because the nerves are all preserved, but they respond to Tylenol, Motrin, and just 5 to 6 days they heal. The smaller burns, which have just like blisters on your face or your arms, you can just kind of de-roof those blisters and wash them with soap and water every day, and maybe put a little bit of antibiotic ointment on them. But anything that's extensive, anything that's worse, please seek medical attention, because we have a lot of creams, a lot of special dressings and innovative techniques to get you healed faster and get back out there to doing what you normally did.
Anything else, doctor, before we let you go, that people need to just kind of be aware of? Friendly reminders this summer?
I would just like to reiterate, we want you to have a great Memorial Day weekend. At the same time, 4th of July, fireworks are very dangerous. Keep your kids away from sparklers that can get as hot as 2,000 to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Don't drink. Like we say, don't drink and drive. Please don't drink and cook, or don't drink and grill, and don't drink and start campfires. Stay safe. It's better to have your skin on yourself, on your body before coming to the hospital, because once you get burned, things can be pretty challenging. But be safe, everybody.
Yes, be safe it is. Dr. Ram Villamuri, we really appreciate you, Regional 1 Health Firefighters Burn Center. Thanks so very much for the friendly reminders. Have a safe and happy summer. Appreciate it.
Bank with confidence at First South Financial, one of the top 1% of financial institutions in the U.S. for strength and stability. Visit firstsouth.com today.
First South Financial, banking with friends since 1957.
Hey, did you hear the news? If not, catch up now with Action News 5's official YouTube channel. You can like, comment, and share the stories that matter to you. Meet the Action News 5 team and get a blast from the past in the Action News 5 vault. Top stories and special reports you may have missed or just want to watch again are added daily, so you can stay in the know with the 901. Visit youtube.com/actionnews5 and never miss out on the exciting things happening around you.
I'm Bobby Jones of Delta Medicare Benefits Group, the Mid-South's #1 trusted source for all things Medicare. At Delta Medicare Benefits Group, you work with local Mid-Southerners. There's no 800 number, no machines to talk to, just local Medicare experts. Together, we'll come up with the best Medicare plan that fits your individual needs. Call today for your free Medicare consultation at 460-7220 or stop by our office at 5050 Poplar Avenue.
Bank with confidence at First South Financial, one of the top 1% of financial institutions in the U.S. for strength and stability. Visit firstsouth.com today.
First South Financial, banking with friends since 1957.
Okay, Andrew Douglas here in the Action News 5 digital desk. We are going through an amazing amount of interviews all morning long. We've had more than a dozen or half dozen this morning, and it's been fun. It's been fantastic. It hits on everything that we love about Memphis and the Mid-South. It talks about, we've talked about all kinds of different things. Summer reading. We've talked about places to explore in Arkansas. We've talked about the VA hospital with cutting-edge health care that's going on. Well, now I want to direct your attention to Memphis Magazine and an amazing article about the Dixon. That's one of the bright spots, one of those great gems that we love in the city. The Dixon is just fantastic, and there is some never before seen work in an exhibit there, watercolors, various ceramics. There's a whole article posted on Memphis Magazine right now. It's written by Abigail Marici. She joins us now on the Action News 5 digital desk. Hi. Abigail, nice to see you again. How are you?
Nice. Good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. So tell me first off, was this your first time to the Dixon? What'd you think?
I mean, I love the Dixon. It's great, and I got to see this exhibit a couple weeks ago for the first time, and it's amazing. The Zawuki watercolors and ceramics. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I love the Dixon. It was one of the first places that my girlfriend, now wife, brought me to when I first came to Memphis a long time ago. She's just like, I love the flowers. I love everything about the Dixon. Yeah. And so people can go now. I think it's still free for people, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's still free until I think 2024 at the moment. So definitely.
Amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. So tell me about the article that you wrote and the exhibit that's now on display.
Yeah, so the exhibit that's now on display, like you said, it's by Zawuki, and it has a bunch of like watercolors, I think 80 pieces in total, watercolors and ceramics that had never been seen before to the public. They come from European private collections, so it's really cool that the Dixon's able to be the first. And Zawuki is a French-Chinese artist, and he's not really a super well-known name in the States, but he is like super famous elsewhere, and he was super famous during his time. I think in like 2018, he was the top third seller of his artwork, and then like now he's like top 23, and he's like above recognizable names that you would probably know, like Botticelli, Degas, Georgia O'Keeffe. Like he kind of ranks above those in sales. So his work is still very popular today. And he was born in 1920. He died in the early 2010s. And he did a lot of like abstract work. And the pieces on display are his watercolors, which he like gravitated more towards when he was like later in life. But he did it throughout too. And the watercolors have this like interesting combination or feeling of like blending between his Chinese culture and like more Western cultures or like artwork, because abstract expressionism technically originated in, United States and New York, but there's a lot of like Chinese background that is like a part of that because they were inspired by Chinese calligraphy. And when Zawuki began to adopt the style, he realized that like the calligraphy that his grandfather had taught him was kind of like in part what he was doing now in the watercolors, because before he was kind of unsure if he wanted to really embrace his Chinese background because he moved to France from China in the 1940s, and he was really more about Western culture. And then he realized there's this part of me that I need to express, and he embraced it. And I think towards the end of his life, there's no real boundary between the East and the West. It's it doesn't exist because these cultures are always influence one another. And people don't really think about that. And so it's really cool to see that at the Dixon, especially because it's the first time that these will be on display in public. Yeah.
So he was born in 1920, and you say he lived to be in the 2010s?
Yes, maybe.
Wow. Okay. So I mean, he lived a long life. Wow. And so when did he write, or when did he paint these?
So he painted a lot of them like later in his life, so like the early 2000s. But there are pieces from like throughout his career, but most of them are from like later, like 2007, 2006. Because I don't think he painted for the last 2 or 3 years of his life, just because he was older. But yeah, so a lot of them from like later in his life.
Yeah. No, it's interesting, and it sounds like, based upon your article, that he's had a lot of influencers. One of which is Picasso, and I'm about to be able to put up a couple of pictures so our audience can see what we're talking about here. But you're doing a great job of describing it. You know, abstract art, that sometimes that people can find that a little bit challenging to interpret. How did you see it from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I was also speaking with Julie Perotti for this article, and I think she put it well, that like you don't have to sit there and analyze it. You can just appreciate it for what it is and just kind of like respond to it emotionally. And that's kind of what Zhao Yu is actually striving towards, that people didn't have to, you know, sit there and decipher it. It's an indecipherable language, I think he referred to it at one point. And it's kind of like you're allowed to just sit with your emotions and just let it like see how you feel. And like a lot of the pieces are inspired by nature. And so for me, at least, they're really peaceful and calming, and just to like look at them, and especially like the colorful pieces, it's like I feel like I'm outside in nature, even though I'm in the AC in the Dixon. Although you can go outside and look at the nature there, which is cool to have that balance. Yeah, but they're really cool. Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, and there's like
so tell us what we're seeing from your perspective.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously he takes a lot of influence from nature. And so you can see that. You can probably say like, oh, this is like a landscape. But you could also just kind of like see it in like the more abstract, pardon my pun, I guess. And
No,
you know, think about
I
like
get
what
it.
it means emotionally. Yeah, and so like the blues and the greens are really like peaceful and serene, and you know, you can see also with watercolors, you can see the brush strokes of the artist more, and there's also this like whole idea of the artist letting go of control more, because with watercolors is so like fluid, and you can't control it too much, and also you can't manipulate it too much after it's on the paper. And so there's also this like immediacy behind the artist and the artwork, and you kind of see more of like an intimate view into like the making of it. And so like even if you're just like following the line work and, you know, watching where the water had pooled on the page, like it's therapeutic in that way, because you can almost like imagine yourself stroking the watercolor over the page. And yeah, it's really pretty to look at also. I mean,
Yeah, I agree. And this is in this month's pages of Memphis Magazine. You can check it out. It's on newsstands now. You can also go to memphismagazine.com. Abigail Merici, we really appreciate you joining us on the digital desk, and we're looking forward to checking out the Dixon once again. Such a gem in Memphis. Thanks very much.
Get ready to splash into summer at the YMCA. With 2 great options to join the Y, there's something for everyone. Choose a summer splash pass and enjoy the outdoor pools and splash pads now through September. Or take 20% off regular monthly memberships and keep saving for life. And you get all the great benefits of the YMCA with family and individual membership options. Visit the website at ymcamemphis.org for full details and to join today.
Okay, that does it for us here in the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We have Ariana Poindexter anchoring our midday report. She's going to have the latest news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. And then you can join us for another edition of the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I believe next week. We are taking Memorial Day weekend off, so we will see you on Tuesday.